Chapter 118. Calculating the time. In a few months, the Shifter Race's minions would appear. At that time, the Shifter Race's beginner area would be connected to the human races in reality. That cheap dog wasn't in this city. It was also possible in the game. As long as he met that cheap dog, he could use the White Tiger battle formation to kill him 10 times in the game. He would still die in reality. Thinking of this, Yi Chen coldly smiled, then looked at Diao Chan and asked, "Do you still remember what happened before?" When Yi Chen discovered that Diao Chan had opened her eyes, he was stunned for a moment. He had some doubts in his heart, so he asked this question. Diao Chan nodded and said, "Yes, my lord." Yi Chen looked at the extremely beautiful Diao Chan and was silent for a moment. Then, he said in an incomparably domineering manner, "Whether you remember the past or not is not important. Ren Hongchang is you, Diao Chan is also you. From today onwards you are Diao Chan, the Diao Chan that only belongs to me." Diao Chan was slightly stunned. She didn't expect Yi Chen to be so domineering and direct. "Yes, my lord. Diao Chan will only belong to my lord from today onwards." Diao Chan came back to her senses and smiled sweetly. Ding. Diao Chan's favorability plus 100. Advanced to intimate. Ding. Diao Chan's loyalty plus 100. Advanced to diehard loyal. At this moment, 2 notifications sounded in Yi Chen's ears. After hearing the system's notifications, Yi Chen couldn't help but be stunned. It was maxed out so easily, very few men could guess a woman's thoughts. Yi Chen was no exception. When Yi Chen found Diao Chan, she was still Ren Hongchang, a refugee girl. On the other hand, Yi Chen was the 3rd-grade general pacifying north of the Great Han Empire, a 1st-grade viscount of the empire, and the lord of Samsara town. His status was 10,000 times higher than hers, yet he still bought her at a high price. At that time, Ren Hongchang already understood that she was destined to become Yi Chen's concubine. She was very happy, but in private she felt that she was not good enough for Yi Chen. After that, Yi Chen took her out of Luoyang and killed their way back to Samsara town. Now that Ren Hongchang's seal had been lifted, he had become Diao Chan, but his memories were exactly the same. Whether it was Ren Hongchang or Diao Chan, both of them already had Yi Chen in their hearts. In the past, Ren Hongchang felt that he was not worthy of Yi Chen. But now, Diao Chan had let go of her previous burden. Otherwise, Yi Chen would have to put in a lot more effort to raise the favorability and loyalty points to the max. Yi Chen thought for a moment, but he could not understand, so he decided not to think about it. Then, he looked at Diao Chan, nodded, and said, "Wander around Samsara town. See where you like. When the time comes, I will build a house for you to live in." "My lord, do you mean that the house you are going to build will be Diao Chan's temporary residence?" Diao Chan was stunned for a moment before she asked. "Yes. Soon, I will build the Copper Sparrow Pavilion. Once the Copper Sparrow Pavilion is completed, you will go there." Yi Chen nodded and said, "As my lord commands. However, my lord, can Diao Chan stay at your place? Diao Chan does not like to live alone." Diao Chan nodded and replied. When Yi Chen heard this, his heart could not help but thump. His overbearing words were caused by a moment of absent-mindedness, and the possessiveness in his heart emerged. Who asked Diao Chan to be so beautiful? But now Yi Chen snapped out of his daze and realized that Zhao Yu, who was in his arms, had stiffened. "Sister, can Diao Chan stay at my lord's place?" Diao Chan looked at Zhao Yu and asked politely. Zhao Yu glanced at Diao Chan, then turned to Yi Chen. "You decide." Yi Chen laughed awkwardly and said. Zhao Yu looked at Yi Chen with hidden bitterness, then looked at Diao Chan and said with a smile, "Of course." When Yi Chen heard this, he heaved a sigh of relief. Damn, these were just 2 women, and they were already like this. If he snatched all the beauties recognized by Wisdom Brain Pangu. Thinking of this, Yi Chen suddenly shuddered, and then a feeling of displeasure emerged. Damn, who dares to cause trouble? Family law, wait. Thinking of this, Yi Chen's overbearing aura instantly emerged. The two women, who were originally tit for tat, were both stunned. At this moment, Yi Chen rode forward on his warhorse. When he passed by Diaochan, he pulled Diaochan behind him. "Let's go back," Yi Chen said domineeringly, then urged his horse to gallop. Soon, they arrived at the mayor's mansion. After Yi Chen helped Diaochan off the horse, he also helped Zhao Yu down. However, when he placed Zhao Yu on the ground, Yi Chen whispered something in Zhao Yu's ear. "Bring Diaochan around and chat with her. You are the boss, so you have to have a boss's temperament." When Yi Chen said this, Zhao Yu's eyes lit up. In fact, in this era, which man didn't have 3 wives and 4 concubines? Even ordinary small landlords had groups of wives and concubines. Not to mention Yi Chen, who was a feudal lord, a noble, and a third-rank general of the great Han Empire. Zhao Yu wasn't jealous or angry, but she wasn't used to it and was also worried. She wasn't used to Yi Chen having a new woman so quickly, and she was also worried that Yi Chen wouldn't pamper her in the future, or even abandon her. This was because Diaochan was too much of a threat. As a woman, Zhao Yu was jealous of Diaochan's beauty. It was obvious that Zhao Yu's heart was filled with turmoil the moment Diaochan appeared. And now, Yi Chen's words dispelled the worries in Zhao Yu's heart. Because Yi Chen's meaning was very clear. Zhao Yu would be the main wife. Zhao Yu nodded happily and then replied. Yi Chen kissed Zhao Yu, then turned and went to the living room in the front yard. Yi Chen still had important things to do, so he naturally wouldn't waste time on the matters between men and women. Chapter 119. Samsara Town, Mayor's Mansion, Living Room in the Front Yard. Yi Chen saw Guijia and Zhao Heng sitting in the living room as soon as he arrived at the door. He couldn't help but smile. He originally wanted to send someone to call them over, but he didn't expect them to come directly. "My lord." Guijia and Zhao Heng hurriedly stood up and bowed when they saw Yi Chen. Yi Chen nodded with a smile. Then, he walked into the living room and sat down on the main seat. He looked at Guijia and asked, "Feng Shao, are there any flaws in the matter of the Wuhuan spies?" "My lord, the Wuhuan spies didn't find anything unusual. After they saw the corpse of the blue-eyed Tiger King from afar, they didn't dare to stay and went straight back," Guijia said with a smile. "So smoothly?" Yi Chen was taken aback. Jia didn't expect those spies to be so timid. "When Jia saw that my lord didn't come back, I specially sent someone to catch a tiger. I didn't expect it to be useless." Guijia nodded and said with a smile. "In that case, the Wuhuan cavalry will be here tomorrow?" Yi Chen's eyes lit up when he heard this. "Yes, my lord. The Wuhuan cavalry will enter the Samsara forest tomorrow. It is estimated that there will be 50,000 cavalry or even more." Guijia nodded and said with certainty. "The more the better. This way, Samsara town can form a cavalry and the Yuzhou rebellion can be dealt with as soon as possible." Yi Chen couldn't help but smile when he heard Guijia's answer. "My lord wants to quell the rebellion in Yuzhou?" Guijia was taken aback and hurriedly asked. "Yes, His Majesty gave me 3 months to quell the rebellion in Yuzhou. Otherwise, how could I be general pacifying North?" Yi Chen nodded and said. Guijia frowned when he heard this. Seeing Guijia frown, Yi Chen was taken aback and asked, "Feng Shao, do you know something difficult?" "My lord, do you know who started the rebellion in Yuzhou?" Guijia looked at Yi Chen and asked. "If I remember correctly, it should be Zhang Chun?" Yi Chen looked at Guijia in surprise and said, "My lord, you're right. However, my lord, although Zhang Chun isn't a terrifying person, he has already taken over northern Peace County. Furthermore, he has Wu Huan and the other foreign races helping him. It won't be easy for my lord to quell the rebellion in 3 months." Guijia nodded and said. When Yi Chen heard this, how could he not understand what Guijia meant? The city walls of Ping County were extremely high and the city gates were thick and heavy. It would be difficult to break into the city. Furthermore, Zhang Chun had millions of soldiers, and they were all regular soldiers. They were extremely powerful, and it would be even more difficult to take down the northern Peace County and behead Zhang Chun. And this was just Zhang Chun. There were also other foreign races who had joined Zhang Chun in the rebellion, such as Qiu Liju of the Wuhuan Kingdom. This was another difficult problem. Thinking of this, Yi Chen couldn't help but smile. He then looked at Guojia and asked, "Fengxiao, have you heard of ballistae?" "Ballista? My lord, you have such a weapon?" Guojia was taken aback at first, but then his eyes lit up and he hurriedly asked. Yi Chen nodded and said, "A while ago, the 15,000 Wuhuan cavalrymen we killed gave me 15,000 ballistae. With these, it won't be too difficult to take down northern Peace County." "Congratulations, my lord. Jia didn't expect my lord to have such a weapon. As long as we make some arrangements, northern Peace County will be ours," Guojia said excitedly. "Fengxiao, what's your plan?" Yi Chen laughed and asked. "Fire attack," Guojia said without hesitation. "Fire attack?" Yi Chen was taken aback for a moment before his eyes lit up. Bows and arrows couldn't penetrate the city walls, nor could they travel far. However, ballistae were different. As long as the thick arrows used for ballistae were slightly modified, they could become huge fire arrows. Once they reached the city walls, it would be too easy to shoot them into the city. F***ck. I was thinking of trying to break open the city gates. If I can't, I'll use the ballistae to suppress the rebels on the city walls and force my way in. Guojia, on the other hand, is using fire to attack. What a sinister plan. But I like it. Yi Chen threw his head back and laughed maniacally at this thought. He walked over to Guojia and patted him on the shoulder. "With Fengxiao's help, there's no need to worry about failing." Guojia hesitated for a moment before saying, "My lord, although this plan is feasible, it goes against the natural order. My lord, please try burning the city walls first." Yi Chen was slightly startled after hearing this, before he fell silent. Yi Chen understood Guojia's meaning very well. Once the fire attack was used, it would set northern Peace County ablaze. Besides the rebels, there would also be civilians in the city. Fire and water were merciless. Whether it was civilians or rebels, they could all be burned to death. In order to achieve hegemony, one had to disregard the lives of the civilians. This was what all the heroes of history had done. What should I do? This world wasn't made up of data. Yi Chen was silent for a while. Then, he looked at Guojia and asked, "If I choose to burn down northern Peace County, what will you do, Fengxiao?" "Jia is willing to carry out this plan for you, my lord." Guojia bowed without hesitation. Yi Chen couldn't help but laugh maniacally at this. Guojia was worried that Yi Chen would be branded as ruthless and lose the hearts of the people. This would be detrimental to Yi Chen's hegemony in the future. Yi Chen naturally knew this. It was because of this that Yi Chen was laughing maniacally. A loyal follower was a loyal follower. Everything he did was for Yi Chen's sake. That was why Yi Chen was so happy that he laughed. In this world, who could have loyal followers? Perhaps there would be in the future, but there wouldn't be many. But now, Yi Chen had loyal followers. Yi Chen laughed for a while before he stopped and said, 3 months seems like 3 months. 3 months might seem like a long time, but I don't want to wait too long. After dealing with the Wuhuan cavalry tomorrow, I'll take down Peace City within 10 days. Yi Chen's intention was very simple. He would first try to take northern Peace County by burning down the city walls. If it didn't work, he would try another plan. If that didn't work, he would burn down northern Peace County within 10 days at most. Yi Chen didn't want his position to be affected by his so-called benevolence and the hearts of the people. Once his position as General Pacifying North was revoked, it would affect Yi Chen's plans for the Yellow Turban Rebellion. This chain of events would completely disrupt Yi Chen's plans. This was something that Yi Chen absolutely didn't want to see. Therefore, Yi Chen finally decided to give northern Peace County only 10 days. If he couldn't take it down in 10 days, Yi Chen would directly use fire to burn northern Peace County and then launch an expedition to the north. Chapter 120. My lord, you have a benevolent heart and the demeanor of a king. I am fortunate to be able to follow you. It is the fortune of 3 lifetimes. When Guojia heard Yi Chen's decision, he bowed happily. Yi Chen could accept Guojia's suggestion, which meant that Yi Chen was not an obstinate and self-opinionated person. Yi Chen's decision also showed that Yi Chen was not an indecisive person. Only by not being obstinate and self-opinionated could he listen to his subordinates' suggestions. Only by not being indecisive could he lead his subordinates to establish an immortal foundation. This was the reason why Guojia was happy. Hearing Guojia's emotional words, Yi Chen smiled and asked, "Fengxiao, the Wuhuan cavalry will arrive tomorrow. Have you made any arrangements?" "My lord, I am guilty. Please punish me." Guojia suddenly bowed and said, "Guilty? Fengxiao, are you joking with me?" Yi Chen was taken aback and asked, "My lord, I acted without authorization and ordered Zhao Meng to destroy several villages in the reincarnation forest that were used as training points. Please punish me." Guojia bowed again. Destroy training points. Yi Chen was stunned for a moment before he understood Guojia's meaning. This was to eliminate all possible dangers for the Wuhuan cavalry that would arrive tomorrow. Yi Chen had not returned yet, so Guojia was not sure when Yi Chen would return. It was impossible to lead an army without a general. Zhao Meng was the only king-level general in the entire reincarnation town. To deal with the Wuhuan cavalry that would arrive tomorrow, Zhao Meng had to be transferred back to reincarnation town. There were many trees in the reincarnation forest, most of them towering into the sky. Although reincarnation town had the advantage of terrain, even Guojia could not confirm the number of Wuhuan cavalry. If there were too many, they would have to use the reincarnation town soldiers who were training at the training points. It would be too late to use the soldiers when they discovered that there were too many Wuhuan cavalry. Therefore, the soldiers had to be transferred back in advance. However, bandits and robbers would spawn at the training point. Although bandits and robbers were just a bunch of useless people, they could not be ignored. Especially since they were familiar with fighting in the forest. If they came to Samsara town to join in the fun, it would be fun. If you want to win a war, you have to be fully prepared. Even if he couldn't do it, he had to do his best. Therefore, Guojia asked Zhao Meng to destroy the training ground and bring the troops back to Samsara town in advance. If the training grounds were gone, then so be it. In the future, there would be no need to worry about not having a place to train soldiers. Quelling the rebellion in Yuzhou, the northern expedition to Wuhuan after the Yellow Turban Rebellion, the entire Great Han Empire was in deep water, fire, and heat. Thinking of this, Yi Chen couldn't help but smile. Fengxiao is right. A gentleman doesn't stand under a collapsing wall. The Wuhuan cavalry will arrive tomorrow. If something goes wrong, the consequences will be unimaginable. Jia is relieved that Milord does not blame Jia. Guojia stood up and said with a smile. When Yi Chen saw Guojia's smiling face, he couldn't help but be surprised. Damn, Guojia knew that I wouldn't blame him. Thinking of this, Yi Chen shook his head helplessly and then looked at Zhao Heng. Zhao Heng saw Yi Chen looking at him and hurriedly bowed before Yi Chen could ask. Milord, all the refugees in Samsara town have been properly settled. The soldiers have also been allocated houses. The fields have also been measured according to Milord's instructions. When Yi Chen heard this, he nodded his head in satisfaction. He then asked, "Are there any special craftsmen among the refugees?" "Special craftsmen?" Zhao Heng was taken aback and then asked, "What do you mean by special, Milord?" "For example, craftsmen who have mastered grandmaster-level skills," Yi Chen said with a smile. Zhao Heng was taken aback again and then bowed. "Milord, there are no such craftsmen among the refugees. However, when Samsara village was first established, an intermediate beast tamer came. Because he had to take care of the nearly 20,000 warhorses in Samsara Valley, he has now become a grandmaster-level beast tamer." Yi Chen was taken aback and then his eyes lit up. He had actually become a Grandmaster-level beast tamer. Thinking of this, Yi Chen smiled and waved his right hand. A book appeared in Yi Chen's hand. Beast Taming Technique. Divine after use. Automatically master the Divine Beast Taming Technique and advance to a Divine Beast Tamer. Requirements: Grandmaster-level Beast Tamer. Yi Chen didn't have much hope when he asked Zhao Heng. After all, it wasn't that easy to find a Grandmaster-level craftsman. Zhao Heng's answer surprised Yi Chen quite a bit, but Yi Chen liked this kind of surprise. When he was in Luoyang, Yi Chen had the idea of taming savage beasts. Only by taming savage beasts could he form a special cavalry unit. And to tame savage beasts, one must have a divine beast tamer. Now that Samsara Town had a Grandmaster-level beast tamer, as long as he used the beast taming technique, divine, Samsara Town would immediately have a divine beast tamer who had mastered the divine beast taming technique. And Yi Chen's idea of forming a special cavalry unit would no longer be a big obstacle. As long as he found the exact location of the savage beasts, all problems would be solved. The powerful and despair-inducing heavy cavalry unit would then appear in the world. This is the Divine Beast Taming Technique. Give it to the Grandmaster-level Beast Tamer. Yi Chen handed the Beast Taming Technique, Divine, to Zhao Heng. Divine? Zhao Heng couldn't help but be stunned when he heard Yi Chen's words. Then, he bowed in ecstasy and said, "Congratulations, my lord. From now on, Samsara Town can start taming rare and exotic beasts. This is another specialty." Zhao Heng was right. Rare and exotic beasts were also a specialty and could bring a lot of money to Samsara Town. Of course, this couldn't be compared to a specialty like Hundred Flowers wine. Hundred Flowers wine was the only specialty, but the Divine Beast Tamer wasn't. However, in the Three Kingdoms beginners area, the Divine Beast Tamer that would appear in Samsara Town would be the town's only Divine Beast Tamer. Yi Chen smiled and asked, "How are the buildings in Samsara Town coming along?" "My lord, all the buildings have been completed. We're just waiting for my lord to level up Samsara Town." Zhao Heng bowed and said. Hearing this, Yi Chen couldn't help but feel a sense of pride. At this moment, in the entire Three Kingdoms beginners area, there wasn't a single territory that could compare to Samsara Town. There wasn't a single territory that had a stronger foundation than Samsara Town. The AI Pengu had opened up an exchange service. Those rich lord players didn't have to worry about the funds to build their territories. However, they couldn't help but worry about resources. Of the resources listed on the market, only a small portion of them were listed by players. The rest were listed by native merchants. Now, none of the lord players lacked money. What they lacked was resources. Therefore, the moment resources appeared in the market, a group of people would fight over them. A village-level territory wasn't too bad. However, at the town level, the amount of resources needed would be 10 times or even dozens of times higher. Therefore, the other lord players were having a headache. Not only was Yi Chen not worried about funds, he wasn't even worried about resources. This was because Yi Chen had swept clean the market before. On the way back to Samsara Town from Luoyang, he had plundered a large amount of resources. This was the source of Yi Chen's confidence. With more money, more resources, and more people, upgrading a territory wouldn't be a problem for Yi Chen. Thinking of this, Yi Chen looked at Zhao Heng and said with a smile, "Thank you for your hard work. Your humble servant is ashamed. Your humble servant is already old. I can only do some trivial things for my lord." Zhao Heng felt warmth in his heart and said, "Old," he was taking the initiative to give up, because Guojiao was too strong. Thinking of this, Yi Chen couldn't help but sigh inwardly. Then he said, "You're not old. In the future, I'll need you to take care of Samsara Town. Your humble servant will do his best until the day I die." Zhao Heng was slightly taken aback, but then he bowed and replied. Guojia helplessly shook his head. Yi Chen saw Guojia's action and glared at him. Then he said to the still bowing Zhao Heng, "Come with me. Let's go together." It's time for Samsara Town to level up. Chapter 121. Yes, my lord. Guojia and Zhao Hing bowed and followed Yi Chen to the center of the hall. When they reached the center of the hall, Yi Chen used his mind and the Reincarnation Town cornerstone, the golden stone tablet, slowly rose from the ground. Looking at the unique golden stone tablet, Yi Chen smiled and pressed his right hand on the golden stone tablet. With a thought, the system's voice rang out. Checking population. Population met the requirement. Checking number of buildings. Population met the requirement. Checking rank. Lord of Reincarnation Town, Yi Chen, first rank Viscount of the Empire, met the requirements. Ding. Reincarnation Town meets all requirements. Upgrade Reincarnation Town? Upgrade. Ding. Reincarnation Town is upgraded to level 2. Continue. Ding. Reincarnation Town is upgraded to level 3. Continue. Checking the population of Samsara Town. 1.28 million people. The population meets the requirement. Checking number of buildings. Population met the requirement. Checking rank. Lord of Reincarnation Town, Yi Chen, first rank Viscount of the Empire, met the requirements. Checking city wall blueprints. Existing city wall blueprint. City wall real. Checking resources. Population met the requirements. Ding. Reincarnation Town meets all requirements. Upgrade to Reincarnation City? Upgrade. Ding. Congratulations to player Yi Chen. Reincarnation Town is upgraded to Reincarnation City. Buzz. Reincarnation Town changed dramatically after the system's notification ended. The town, which was already huge, expanded 100 times in an instant. The low brick walls at the outermost perimeter were gone, replaced by majestic and tall city walls. The wide streets expanded by 5 times in an instant. The brick road became a flat and thick stone road. The brick and wood houses became bigger and more exquisite. Reincarnation City, Castellan Mansion. Congratulations, my lord. Congratulations, your highness. Guojia and Zhao Hing bowed to Huang Xiaolong happily. Yi Chen listened to their congratulations and looked at the Castellan Mansion that had expanded by 10 times. He was in a good mood. He was one step ahead. Otherwise, Reincarnation City wouldn't be what it was today. Yi Chen was just thinking about this when the world announcement sounded. Ding. Reincarnation Town is the first to be upgraded to a city. Reincarnation City is the first city in the world. Reward, 1,000 purple coins. Reincarnation City's population respawn rate increased by 100 times for 3 days. Ding. Samsara Town is the first to be upgraded to a city. Special reward. Samsara City is the world's #1 city. Reward, 1,000 purple coins. Samsara City's population spawn rate will be increased by 100 times. Ding. Samsara Town is the first to be upgraded to a city. Special reward. Samsara City is the world's #1 city. Reward, 1,000 purple coins. Samsara City's population spawn rate will be increased by 100 times. The moment the world announcement, the world channel was Reincarnation, the world news after Reincarnation, reincarnated. Chun. Reincarnation. Did it have to be so exaggerated? Reincarnation Town, Reincarnation God Town? Reincarnation. Motherf * Ker. Boss Yi Chen is mighty and domineering. Trash, come and worship me. Ha ha ha, Boss Yi Chen is awesome. You have to admit it even if you don't want to. Do you see that? Reincarnation City, the #1 city in the world. Not yet. Many of the lords haven't even reached the town yet, but Boss Yi Chen has already reached the city. Damn, I'm really impressed by Boss Yi Chen now. I'm Yi Chen's cousin. My cousin told me that he can sell the secret to quickly upgrading a territory. He wants 1 million gold. The price is cheap. Hurry up and send me a private message. It's only for the first 10 people. Get lost. When did my cousin Yi Chun have a younger cousin? He only has one younger cousin, and that's me. Now I want to find a husband. He has to be handsome, rich, and capable. If you meet the requirements, hurry up and find me. There's no limit to the number of people. F***CKU, you damned dinosaur. I've seen you before. You look like a flower. You King Yi Chen's cousin, why don't you just die? Saint Town congratulates General Pingbei Yi Chen for upgrading Reincarnation City. At the same time, we sincerely invite General Yi Chen to discuss the alliance. Beauty Town congratulates General Pingbei Yi Chen for upgrading Reincarnation City. At the same time, we sincerely invite General Yi Chen to discuss the alliance. Yanwang Alliance congratulates General Pingbei Yi Chen for upgrading Reincarnation City. At the same time, we sincerely invite General Yi Chen to participate in the first Yanwang Conference. Reincarnation City, Castellan's Manor. Yi Chen glanced at the various contents in the World Channel and ignored them. Be it envy, jealousy, hatred, or compliments, none of it had anything to do with Yi Chen. Yi Chen only had one thing to do, and that was to become stronger. He had to become so strong that people feared him, so strong that people felt despair. At this moment, the system notification sounded out once more. Ding! Congratulations player Yi Chen for fulfilling the special conditions. You have obtained the special building blueprint, Soul Suppressing Tablet. Hearing this, Yi Chen's eyes widened. He didn't expect it to be this. Chapter 122. Soul Controlling Tablet, Unique. Suppress all evil spirits and remnant souls with negative thoughts. The introduction was simple, but Yi Chen knew that it was not simple. In this era, war was an eternal topic. When there was war, there was inevitably death. When people died, their souls should enter the 6 paths of reincarnation. However, those who died in battle often could not enter the samsara. Their souls would either dissipate with time, or they would entangle and haunt the people who killed them. The most serious thing was that the souls who died in battle with nowhere to go might gather together and form a ghost realm. Even Yi Chen could not do anything about it. Yi Chen had the 9 revolutions mysterious skill to protect himself. Ghosts and monsters did not dare to approach Yi Chen, or they would be burned to death by Yi Chen's yang qi. However, Yi Chen's soldiers could not get rid of the soul invasion. It was fine if it was only for a short time, but as time went on, the soldiers' lives would be severely shortened, and they would die early. And the reason for this was the evil spirits of the enemies that were killed in the war. They would haunt and haunt the soldiers who killed them. Once the soul-controlling tablet was built in Samsara City, the negative effects from the remnant souls and evil spirits would not exist. Looking at the introduction of the soul-controlling tablet, Yi Chen smiled. He picked up the soul-controlling tablet blueprint and handed it to Zhao Heng. Build this as soon as possible. Zhao Heng took the soul-controlling tablet blueprint and was stunned for a moment. Then his eyes lit up. He bowed excitedly and said, "Yes, my lord, I will order people to speed up the construction of the soul-controlling tablet." Obviously, Zhao Heng knew the function of the soul-controlling tablet. Otherwise, he would not be so excited. "Congratulations, my lord. Congratulations, my lord. Not only has Samsara Town been upgraded to Samsara City, but you also have the soul-controlling tablet. This is a double blessing. Congratulations." When Guijia heard this, he could not help but smile and bow. Yi Chen nodded with a smile and said, "Indeed. Today there are so many happy events." Of course, Yi Chen paused for a moment, then he looked at Guijia and asked, "What do you think? Feng Shao, are you craving wine again?" "You know me best, my lord," Guijia said with a smile. When Yi Chen heard this, he shook his head helplessly. He then looked at Zhao Heng and asked, "How's the brewing of the 100 Flowers wine coming along?" "My lord, half of the 100 Flowers brew was completed yesterday. Guojia said before Zhao Heng could speak. So fast? Yi Chen asked in surprise when he heard this. My lord, there are 12 winemakers among the refugees that came today. Among them, there are 5 advanced winemakers and 7 intermediate winemakers. I arranged for them to work on the 100 Flowers wine. That's why we were able to achieve such speed. Zhao Heng smiled and bowed. When Yi Chen heard this, his eyes couldn't help but light up. Very good. In that case, the 100 Flowers wine has pretty much reached the peak of the mortal world. Even if we continue to develop it, it won't improve by much. At this point, Yi Chen thought for a moment and then continued. The 100 Flowers wine doesn't take the low-end route, only the high-end route. However, Samsara City won't participate in the sale of this wine. If we spread the news, we should be able to attract a lot of merchants. My lord, merchants pursue profit. Isn't it inappropriate to let them sell something that doesn't belong to the mortal world like the 100 Flowers wine? Zhao Heng said after a slight pause. Yi Chen naturally knew what Zhao Heng meant. If the merchants took over, the price of the 100 Flowers wine would definitely be raised to an unimaginable level. Samsara town wouldn't be able to obtain all the profit. It would be like giving the profits to someone else. My lord, do you need the merchants to do something? And it's very important? Guojia looked at Yi Chen with some confusion and asked. Yi Chen smiled slightly, then nodded and said, That's right. Feng Xiao is right. Merchants pursue profit, but they have many treasures that can't be bought on the market. They also have many high-quality resources. I need these things in their hands. My lord, you don't have to give the merchants the right to sell the 100 Flowers wine. You just need to exchange the 100 Flowers wine with them. Zhao Heng said after a slight pause. Zhao Heng was wholeheartedly thinking for Yi Chen. He didn't want the profits of the 100 Flowers wine to be given to the merchants for free. Yi Chen naturally saw this point. He smiled and said, The world is filled with people who seek profit. The world is bustling with activity, and everyone goes for profit. 100 Flowers wine can firmly trap these merchants, but Samsara City can't stop here. The territory's future development will require a huge amount of resources. I don't want to rely on the resources in the territory to slowly develop and build. Therefore, I must try my best to get the resources in the hands of the merchant. If there isn't a certain amount of profit, they won't give out all the resources in their hands. Yi Chen didn't say one more thing. Now was not the time. At this moment, although the Great Han Empire was decaying, the Great Han Empire was still the Great Han Empire. The tripartite balance of power had not yet appeared. Yi Chen could only use proper means to buy the resources he needed. Otherwise, it wouldn't be so troublesome. However, Yi Chen would only use this method if he couldn't buy it. As for the profits of the 100 Flowers wine, after the Great Han Empire was destroyed, it would be troublesome to rely only on Samsara City to sell it. Because at that time, it would be very chaotic and every force would have their own territory. There was no need to sell the 100 Flowers wine in Yi Chen's own territory. But if he went to other people's territory to sell it, there was an 80% to 90% chance that all the profits would be taken away. This was also the reason why Yi Chen wanted to cooperate with the merchant. However, Yi Chen wouldn't say this, because it was still the Great Han Empire. I see. My lord has great foresight. It is my honor to follow you. Zhao Heng was stunned for a moment, then he suddenly understood and bowed. Yi Chen laughed, then said, Spread the news of the 100 Flowers wine as soon as possible. It will definitely attract many merchants. I'll leave this matter to you. Remember, 1 bottle of 100 Flowers wine will cost 1 purple gold coin, not a single cent less. Zhao Heng was stunned when he heard this. He didn't expect Yi Chen to set such a high price. After he came back to his senses, Zhao Heng hurriedly bowed and said, Yes, my lord. 1 bottle of 100 Flowers wine cost 1 purple gold coin, which was 10,000 gold coins. Zhao Heng originally thought that Yi Chen would set the price at 100 gold coins. He didn't expect Yi Chen to set the price at 10,000 gold coins. This was 100 times higher than what Zhao Heng had expected. As for whether the merchants would buy it, Zhao Heng felt that they would. This was because the 100 Flowers wine didn't belong to the mortal world. Its unique texture and taste were unparalleled in the world. Anyone who smelled or tasted it would never forget it. Chapter 123. I've seen how those merchants gritted their teeth and tried their best to buy it, Guojia said with a laugh. Yi Chen raised his eyebrows and said, as long as they taste the 100 Flower wine, it's impossible for them not to buy it. You're right, my lord. Guojia couldn't help but laugh. Yi Chen laughed and pressed his right hand on the golden stone tablet. Samsara City, God-level small city, number 1 city in the world. Increases its attractiveness to historical figures by 20%. Basic attributes. Stability of territory plus 60, satisfaction of territory residents plus 60, resources plus 500%, agricultural output plus 500%, fishing output plus 500%, attractiveness to refugees plus 300%, qualifications of residents plus 2. Special feature 1. Sacred land, increases residents' comprehension by 50%. Special feature 2. Blessed land, a random elixir of a certain grade will appear every month. Special feature 3. Fate, automatically gathers the fate of heaven and earth to increase residents' cultivation speed and comprehension. Increases as the territory expands. Special feature 4. Ascension, gathers the fate of heaven and earth to rule the world. Allows the entire country to ascend to the eldritch world. Territory resources stones. Wood, iron, food, money. 1. 92 million gold. The number 1 city in the world. Increased its attractiveness to historical figures by 20%. Not bad, not bad. The stronger the attractiveness, the better. Looking at the additional attributes of the number 1 city in the world, Yi Chen couldn't help but smile. He then shouted, "Today is the joyous day of the establishment of Samsara City. I hereby announce that the entire city will celebrate for a day. All expenses are waived." As soon as Yi Chen finished speaking, Yi Chen's domineering and majestic voice rang out above Samsara City. "Today is the joyous day of the establishment of Samsara City. I hereby announce that the entire city will celebrate for a day. All expenses are waived." His voice was loud and clear and instantly spread throughout the city. At this moment, the residents of Samsara City had all come to the streets to celebrate because Samsara Town had become Samsara City. The moment Yi Chen's words rang out, the entire city went into an uproar. "All hail the Grand Lord! Long live the Grand Lord! The Grand Lord is invincible!" The residents of Samsara City, regardless of whether they were male or female, old or young, raised their heads to the sky and shouted one slogan after another. They were all cheering, and their excitement was written all over their faces. Because they were residents of the number 1 city under the heavens, because their lord was Yi Chen, and because their current life was very good, and their future life would be even better. They were proud of who they were. Samsara City, City Lord's Mansion. "My lord, if there is nothing else, Jia will take his leave." Guojia looked at Yi Chen with a smile and said, "You want to drink, right?" Yi Chen shook his head helplessly and said, "My lord, Jia is responding to my lord's call to participate in the carnival." Guojia instantly put on a "you've wronged me" look and then said, "As if I'd believe you." The corner of Yi Chen's mouth twitched involuntarily. He then said, "You can drink, but remember, don't drink too much." When Guojia heard this, he straightened his face and bowed. "Jia can follow you, my lord, and I have no regrets in this life." Yi Chen could tell that Guojia was touched. He smiled and nodded. Then he said, "You should drink less." Guojia's face froze when he heard this. He laughed awkwardly and then said, "My lord, Jia will take his leave." Yi Chen shook his head helplessly and then waved his hand. Seeing this, Guojia bowed and then hurriedly left the city lord's mansion. "My lord, I will also take my leave." Zhao Heng looked at Yi Chen and bowed with a smile. "Build the soul-controlling tablet as soon as possible and spread the news of the 100 Flowers wine." Yi Chen took out the blueprint of the Copper Sparrow Pavilion and handed it to Zhao Heng. He then continued. He said, "When the merchants come, use the materials on this blueprint as a condition. If anyone doesn't agree, ask him to leave Samsara City and never work with us again." After Zhao Heng received the Copper Sparrow Terrace blueprint, he bowed and replied, "Yes, my lord. I will take my leave." Yi Chen nodded. Seeing this, Zhao Heng turned and left the city lord's mansion. Yi Chen looked at the spacious living room of the city lord's mansion and raised his eyebrows. He waved his right hand and the golden tablet slowly sank into the ground and disappeared without a trace. Diaochan's ownership was complete. He received 2 innate attribute points. After Yi Chen finished thinking, he immediately looked at his own attribute. Then, without hesitation, he added 2 innate attribute points to his bone frame. Yi Chen, 1st Viscount, General who pacifies the North, City Lord of Samsara City. Title: Spear God. Characteristics: when using spear-type weapons, attack power x2, accuracy x2, comprehension plus 100, an Emperor-level general. Level: 95. Reputation: 11. 35 million, increases attractiveness to historical figures. Merit: 239 million. Martial power: 93. Emperor-level generals' martial power is 93, 94, 95. Emperor-level generals' martial power is 96, 97, 98. Saint-level generals' martial power is 99,100. Innate bone: 93. Intelligence: 100. Fortune: hidden cultivation technique: 9 revolutions. Mysterious art: chaos, divine night lightning manipulation, chaos, skills: basic spear technique, divine, equipment: Godslayer, damaged, innate treasure, black cloud armor, mysterious, true, money: 1,222,000 purple gold items, yang rejuvenation pill x3, 100 boxes of jewelry, general soul, king, x1 lottery, one-time lottery. I almost forgot about this. Thinking up to this point, Yi Chen clicked on the lottery without hesitation. In an instant, a huge turntable appeared in front of Yi Chen. There were 9 items on the wheel. 3 were building blueprints, 1 was an innate cultivation technique, 2 were class change tokens, 2 were innate spiritual treasures, and the last item was actually a stone. The items in this lottery were all good, but what the hell was this stone? Yi Chen looked at the stone in confusion, but he couldn't figure out what it was. How strange. Yi Chen couldn't figure it out, so he gave up and pressed the start button. The lottery began. The huge wheel immediately began to spin faster and faster. Stop. Yi Chen didn't want to wait any longer, so he shouted for it to stop. The speed of the wheel started to slow down. When the wheel's needle pointed at the innate spiritual treasure and stopped, Yi Chen's eyes lit up. F***CK. This is a good chance. However, at this moment, the needle that had stopped spinning suddenly trembled and stopped. Yi Chen looked at the needle that was pointing at the innate spiritual treasure, but now it was pointing at a stone of unknown origin. His face froze. F***CK. At this moment, the system notification sounded. Ding. Congratulations to player Yi Chen for obtaining 2 World Stone X1. 2 World Stone. Yi Chen was stunned, then his eyes widened. F***CK. It's this. Chapter 125. I'm willing to be the vanguard. Zhao Meng knelt down on one knee and shouted. Good. Yi Chen laughed and said, My lord, the auspicious hour has arrived. Guojia looked at the sky and bowed. In ancient times, soldiers would often choose an auspicious hour to go to war. Guojia was talking about the time to go to war. Yi Chen nodded and said, Let's go. With that, Yi Chen turned and walked toward the gate of the governor's mansion. Guojia and Zhao Meng followed closely behind. There were servants in the governor's mansion. When Yi Chen wanted to go out, the servants had already prepared a warhorse for Yi Chen. Therefore, Yi Chen did not have to worry about these trivial matters. At the gate of Samsara City, the long spears were like a forest and the armors were like mirrors. The 45,000 soldiers of Samsara City stood there quietly. They did not say a word and did not move. A murderous aura reverberated in the air. When Yi Chen arrived on his warhorse, the 45,000 soldiers immediately knelt down on one knee and shouted in unison, "Greetings, my lord!" The 45,000 soldiers moved in unison and shouted in unison. The citizens of Samsara City, who were watching from afar, felt their blood boil. Yi Chen looked at the soldiers in front of him and nodded with satisfaction. Then, he circulated his innate qi and said, "Today, the Wuhuan cavalry will invade Samsara City again. There will be at least 50,000 of them, maybe even 100,000 or more." Yi Chen's eyes suddenly widened and he shouted, "All of you are soldiers of Samsara City. You are all soldiers of Samsara. Do you have the courage to fight? Fight! Fight! Fight!" The 45,000 soldiers of Samsara City raised their spears and shouted in unison. Their fighting spirit rose instantly. Yi Chen waved his right hand and Godslayer appeared instantly. Then, he shouted, "All of you are soldiers of Samsara City. Do you have the courage to kill all enemies? Kill! Kill! Kill!" The soldiers of Samsara City raised their spears and shouted in unison. A strong murderous aura instantly appeared, and then it became thicker and more intense. Yi Chen looked at the morale of the 45,000 Samsara soldiers and nodded in satisfaction. He then shouted, "Move out!" Swish! The 45,000 Samsara soldiers simultaneously changed directions and headed toward the valley entrance. When Yi Chen saw this, he clamped his legs on the horse's belly. Sigh! The war horses neighed and rushed towards the entrance of the valley. Behind him, Guojia and Zhao Meng also spurred their horses to follow Yi Chen towards the entrance of the valley. "Congratulations, Sir Lord, on your triumphant return. Congratulations, Sir Lord, on your triumphant return. Congratulations, Sir Lord, on your triumphant return." The citizens of Samsara City bowed in unison. They had received the news early in the morning and arrived at the city gates before dawn. Men and women, young and old, all of them had come. Because they were grateful to Yi Chen for giving them everything they had today. Without Yi Chen, they would still be refugees and would starve to death at any time. It was Yi Chen who gave them everything they had today and gave them a stable life. They were grateful from the bottom of their hearts, and expressed their love for Samsara City and their loyalty to their Lord Yi Chen through their actions. Outside Samsara Valley, Samsara Forest, Yi Chen looked at the boundless Samsara Forest in front of him and raised his eyebrows. Then, he said, "I wonder how many Wuhuan cavalrymen will come this time. My lord, there will definitely be 50,000 of them." The Wuhuan spies fell into a trap and brought back false information. If Jeduan wants to kill the Blue-Eyed Tiger King, he will have to send more troops. 50,000 is the bottom line, Guojia said with a smile. 50,000 cavalrymen and 50,000 warhorses. Maybe 100,000 warhorses. Yi Chen could not help but smile. Then, he asked, "Fengshao, do you think Jeduan will come this time?" "My lord, I can't say for sure, but I'm sure that there will be at least 200,000 Wuhuan cavalrymen. If that's the case, please don't worry about the trees in the reincarnation forest." Guojia was taken aback for a moment before he spoke. "Don't worry about the trees? Fengshao, do you mean to burn the forest?" Yi Chen asked after a slight pause. Guojia nodded and said, "Yes, my lord. If there are 200,000 Wuhuan cavalrymen, they will have a great advantage in numbers. The Wuhuan tribe is a soldier and their archery skills are not bad. Even if they set up an ambush, they will not be able to wipe out 200,000 cavalrymen immediately. If they cannot wipe out the Wuhuan cavalrymen immediately, the Samsara soldiers will be counterattacked. It is not advisable to retreat and defend Samsara city. Fengxiao, are you saying that if 200,000 Wuhuan cavalrymen really come, the Samsara soldiers will be severely injured or even completely wiped out? If they retreat and defend Samsara city, they will become turtles in a jar? Yi Chen asked after a slight pause. Guojia nodded and said, "That is indeed the case. My lord, please don't blame me for not telling you this yesterday." Fengxiao, do you really think that your lord is petty? Yi Chen said with a smile after a slight pause. Guojia did not tell Yi Chen that there were more than 200,000 Wuhuan cavalrymen because he wanted Yi Chen to have a good night's rest. Yi Chen could see this. Otherwise, Guojia would not have thought of setting the forest on fire. Chapter 126. Jia naturally doesn't think that my lord is narrow-minded. Otherwise, Jia would have reported this matter to you yesterday. However, my lord, you really do need to be extremely careful. Guojia smiled and said after hearing this. Guojia was relieved to be able to follow a lord like Yi Chen. Otherwise, he would have spoken cautiously. Fengxiao is right. However, Fengxiao, are you sure that Suduan will come? Yi Chen nodded and asked. There is a 50% chance that the number of Wuhuan cavalry will reach 100,000 and a 30% chance that there will be 200,000. Suduan will definitely come once the number of cavalry reaches 200,000. Although the probability is not high, it is not low either. Therefore, we need to take precautions in advance. Guojia nodded and said, Fengxiao, do you know about the White Tiger Battle Formation? Yi Chen smiled and asked. White Tiger Battle Formation? Guojia was taken aback and asked. As soon as Guojia finished speaking, he seemed to have thought of something. He was stunned and asked in astonishment, My lord, are you talking about the White Tiger Battle Formation of the Xiantian army? Yes. In Luoyang, the 1,000 soldiers of the Samsara Legion comprehended the White Tiger Battle Formation. Yi Chen nodded and said, Congratulations, my lord. Congratulations, my lord. With such a battle formation, there is no need to worry about failing. Guojia was overjoyed when he heard this. He then bowed and said. Yi Chen laughed and asked, Fengxiao, do you still need to set fire to the forest? Yes. Guojia nodded and said, Is that necessary? Yi Chen was stunned when he heard this and then asked, My lord, although the White Tiger Battle Formation doesn't have any restrictions on infantrymen and cavalry, the Samsara Forest will affect both the Wuhuan cavalry and the White Tiger Battle Formation. Guojia sighed and said. Yi Chen's face froze when he heard this. Damn it, how could I forget about this? Guojia was right. The White Tiger Battle Formation was not omnipotent. It was difficult to use it with obstacles. It was not that it could not be used, but its power would be greatly reduced after it was used. At the very least, in the Three Kingdoms Novice Zone, the power of this discount was not small. It was just like how a pistol was very powerful and could knock down a person with one shot. However, if there was a tree in front of the person, then it would be different. If he entered the primordial world, it would be like replacing a shotgun with a cannon. It would be useless even if he hid behind a tree. He would be blasted to death with one shot. At that time, the overall strength of the Samsara Legion would experience a qualitative leap. Fengxiao, I feel that the decision I made the first day we met was truly correct. Yi Chen let out a long sigh before he spoke in an incomparably serious manner. When Guojia heard this, his face froze. He then said, My lord, you want to break my legs again? That's not something a good lord should do. No, you can't even think about it. You definitely can't think about it. When Zhao Meng heard this, he hurriedly turned his face away. From his trembling shoulders, it wasn't hard to tell that this fellow was holding back his laughter. Otherwise, he would immediately burst out laughing. Yi Chen glared at Guojia and then laughed. Guijia had strongly recommended Yi Chen to set the forest on fire in order to prevent a large number of Samsara soldiers from being attacked and suffering a large number of casualties. Although the warhorses were good, they were not as important as their own soldiers. Once the Wuhuan cavalry reached 200,000, there would definitely be casualties among the Samsara soldiers. Yi Chen naturally saw through Guijia's thoughts. Otherwise, he would not have joked with Guijia. After laughing for a while, Yi Chen raised his hand to sense the direction of the wind and found that they were in the upwind. He could not help but look at Guijia and ask, "Feng Shao, you know how to read the weather?" "My lord, this is a small trick. I know a little about it. The wind is weak now, but in an hour it will blow up. When the fire starts, it will be difficult for the Wuhuan cavalry to escape." Guijia nodded and then said. When Yi Chen heard this, he could not help but laugh. "Then," he said, "fire and water are cruel. Once the fire starts, it won't be easy to extinguish it. The Wuhuan warhorses will also be burned to the ground. This plan needs to be used wisely." The warhorses were of great use to Yi Chen, so he had to obtain them. Otherwise, Yi Chen would definitely choose to use fire to burn the Wuhuan cavalry. It was simpler and more convenient. Guijia nodded and then said, "My lord, you are right. Previously, I did not know that you had the White Tiger battle formation, so I came up with the plan to set the forest on fire. Now that I see it, if the ambush plan cannot wipe out the Wuhuan cavalry, it is not impossible for you to retreat to the Samsara Valley. When the time comes, you only need to lure the Wuhuan cavalry to attack and then destroy them in one blow." Yi Chen smiled, then looked at the reincarnation forest and said, "When marching to war, casualties are inevitable. However, even if the Wuhuan cavalry comes in person, so what if there are 200,000 of them? A cavalry that cannot charge is like a tiger without claws and teeth. What is there to fear?" Guijia paled and hastily asked, "Your Excellency, are you planning to use force to break through?" Guijia had never expected that Yi Chen would not use fire or retreat after setting up an ambush. Instead, he wanted to use force to break through. "Feng Shao, do you trust me?" Yi Chen asked with a laugh. "Jia naturally trusts Your Excellency, but Your Excellency, if we do this, the casualties—" Guijia bowed. "Retreating will also take time. If you insist on going head-on when the situation is hopeless, that is the behavior of a boorish man. If we choose to retreat, the Samsara Legion can retreat unscathed, but those soldiers who set up the ambush—" Yi Chen turned to the 10,000 Samsara Legion soldiers behind him and shouted, "Do you have confidence? Do you all have the confidence to follow me and annihilate the enemy?" When the 10,000 soldiers of the Samsara Legion heard this, they raised their spears in unison and roared, "Kill him! Kill! Kill! Kill!" At this moment, the 10,000 Samsara Legion soldiers were all brimming with confidence. Even if there were 200,000 or even 1,000,000 Wuhuan cavalry, let alone 100,000, what could they do? How could they scare them? How could they scare them? They were the Samsara Legion, the only special army in the world with the ability to advance infinitely. They wanted to follow their lord, Yi Chen, to destroy all enemies and flatten all factions. They firmly believed that their lord, Yi Chen, would lead them to victory in every battle, and victory in every battle. Chapter 127. Guijia couldn't help but be taken aback by the growing momentum of the Samsara Legion. Even though Guijia was as intelligent as a demon and as scheming as a god, he had never seen such a powerful and resolute army before. The Samsara Legion actually has a military spirit. How long has it been? It's only been a little more than a month since Samsara was founded, Guijia muttered to himself, then he turned to Yi Chen and bowed. Your Excellency loves your soldiers like your own children and trains them like gods. You are also blessed by great fortune. Jia is truly fortunate to be able to follow your Excellency. Yi Chen couldn't help but smile and say, Feng Shao, there's no need to be modest. Samsara can only become stronger with your help. Jia is willing to give my all until my death. Guojia bowed once more. Yichen raised his eyebrows and asked, Fengshao, are you going to do your best and not drink anymore? Your Excellency, the weather is pretty good today. Guojia suddenly looked up at the sky in surprise. Damn, I knew it. The corners of Yichen's mouth twitched involuntarily. He then looked at Zhao Meng and said, Zhao Meng, order 30,000 men to climb up the trees and lie in ambush on both sides of the path the Wuhuan cavalry will take. Once the Wuhuan cavalry have entered the ambush, attack. You will personally lead 5,000 men to lie in ambush in the rear and cut off the Wuhuan cavalry's path of retreat. Zhao Meng couldn't help but be taken aback. He didn't want to be the vanguard and wanted to run to the rear to cut off the enemy's path of retreat. What? You still want to be the vanguard? Yi Chen asked with a smile when he saw Zhao Meng's dazed expression. Zhao Meng snapped out of his daze and hurriedly got down on one knee. This general doesn't dare. The Samsara Legion can only display its full strength under your Excellency's leadership. Yi Chen laughed and said, There will be plenty of opportunities to be the vanguard in the future. Soon, we will go to the right north to quell the rebellion. After quelling the rebellion, we will go on a northern expedition. Zhao Meng's eyes lit up and he loudly replied, This general will go and prepare? Yi Chen nodded. Zhao Meng immediately stood up and went to relay Yi Chen's orders. Not long after, Zhao Meng left with 35,000 Samsara soldiers. 30,000 soldiers climbed up the trees and lay in ambush on both sides of the Wuhuan cavalry's path. Zhao Meng, on the other hand, led the other 5,000 Samsara soldiers into the depths of Samsara forest. They needed to hide, at least not before the war began. Otherwise, cutting off the Wuhuan cavalry's path of retreat would be akin to alerting the enemy. Time passed slowly. A strong wind started to blow in the reincarnation forest, causing the leaves to rustle. At this time, Yi Chen had already dismounted from his warhorse. He held the Godslayer in his right hand and looked ahead. Behind him, the 10,000 Samsara legion stood as still as a mountain, ready for battle. Sigh! The snorting of countless warhorses could be heard. Although his voice was still very soft, it was already audible. Here it comes. Yi Chen's eyes suddenly widened and a cold light flashed through them. The snorting of the warhorses gradually became clearer, and so did the voices of the Wuhuan cavalry. I didn't expect that tiger in the valley to be guarding so many treasures. Now that Chief Jeduan is here, we'll definitely be able to kill that tiger. Ha ha, that's right. Chief Jeduan is the strongest warrior of our Wuhuan cavalry. It's just a crooked beast. We can easily capture it. It's a pity that we lost all the ballistae we bought from the eunuchs of the great Han Empire. Otherwise, we would have an easy time. Alas, Mu Duo is a disgrace to our Wuhuan tribe. He brought 15,000 men with him, and even brought ballistae, but he still couldn't kill that tiger. Mu Duo is trash, and so are his subordinate. If he hadn't insisted on bringing the ballistae, we wouldn't have been bullied by those Xianbei bastards. It doesn't matter. Tigers eat meat, not weapons. Once we kill that tiger, those ballistae will come back. Damn it, once we kill that tiger and take back the ballistae, we must teach those Xianbei bastards a lesson. That's for sure. Chief Jeduan won't let the Xianbei tribe off. They bullied us so ruthlessly. Once we take back the ballistae, we'll show those Xianbei bastards what the ballistae of the great Han Empire are. I guarantee that they'll be crying for their parents. Ha ha ha, when Yi Chen heard this, he raised his eyebrows and looked at Guojia beside him. Guojia nodded and said softly, The Jeduan is here. The arrival of the Jeduan meant that there were at least 200,000 Wuhuan cavalry invading this time. Yi Chen naturally knew this, but Yi Chen was not the least bit afraid or flustered. He raised the Godslayer in his hand and stared coldly ahead. Swoosh! The Samsara Legion immediately got into an attack formation. As soon as Yi Chen gave the order, they would attack without hesitation. The voices of the Wuhuan cavalry became clearer and clearer. Then, their figures appeared in Yi Chen's sight. At the same time, the person at the front of the Wuhuan cavalry, who had arrived at the Samsara forest, also saw Yi Chen. Kill! Yi Chen activated his genuine qi and roared. Whoosh! 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 Countless arrows pierced the air. The Samsara soldiers who had been lying in ambush on both sides of the Wuhuan cavalry's path for a long time drew their bows and shot at the Wuhuan cavalry. Chapter 128. Pooh! 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 The sound of arrows hitting bodies rang out one after another. Plop! Plop! The sound of bodies falling to the ground was followed closely by the sound of many bodies falling. The Wuhuan cavalrymen were instantly dumbfounded. However, while they were dumbfounded, the 30,000 Samsara soldiers who were lying in ambush were not. They nocked their arrows and shot at the Wuhuan cavalry. There were too many enemies, so they had to make the best use of their time to kill as many Wuhuan cavalrymen as possible. The more they killed, the more the scales of the war would tilt towards Samsara. After a few breaths of time, the Wuhuan cavalry began to howl in pain, shriek, and rage. Ah! I've been shot in the leg, save me! I got shot in the thigh, these bastards! Ah! Who is it? Who the hell is attacking us? Whoosh! Whoosh! Pooh! 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 Swathes of Wuhuan cavalry fell to the ground, and in just a few breaths, more than 70,000 of them had died. Boys, don't panic. Kill the ambushers on the tree. Once we kill them, we'll be safe. An angry roar suddenly sounded from the middle of the Wuhuan cavalry. The Wuhuan cavalrymen, who had been panicking, seemed to have gained great courage in an instant. They drew their bows and arrows and prepared to counterattack. When Yi Chen saw this, his eyes widened and he roared, "White Tiger battle formation! Kill! Kill! Kill!" The Samsara Legion shouted in unison. Extremely dense killing intent instantly gathered into a ball. A white tiger even larger and clearer than Luoyang instantly appeared in the sky above the Samsara forest. Roar! An earth-shattering roar instantly reverberated throughout the land. An extremely brutal killing intent suddenly erupted, becoming thicker and thicker, more and more intense. That tyrannical killing intent sent chills down everyone's spine, and even their souls began to tremble. The Wuhuan cavalrymen who were about to attack the Samsara soldiers suddenly froze and looked up at the sky. In the next second, the Wuhuan cavalry's hair stood on end as they screamed in horror. What is that? Tiger! Why can tigers fly? This can't be the tiger in the valley. Longevity heaven, is this a tiger? Why can it fly? Why is it so violent? I feel death. At this moment, the giant white tiger in the sky suddenly descended and enveloped Yi Chen and the 10,000 Samsara Legion. Roar! A ferocious roar filled with murderous intent was heard once again. Then, the white tiger turned into a stream of light and disappeared in a flash. Pring pring pung, a series of explosions sounded instantly. A 100-meter-long open area instantly appeared. The Wuhuan cavalry were gone, the trees were gone, and the warhorses were gone. All that was left was a thick mist of blood and countless tiny bits of wood drifting in the wind. With a single strike from the white tiger, all living things within 100 meters were annihilated. At this time, the Samsara soldiers lying in ambush on the trees had already taken advantage of the Wuhuan cavalry's shock to launch another 5 or 6 waves of attack. Whoosh! Whoosh! Arrows were still flying toward the Wuhuan cavalry. Miserable howls and screams rang out one after another, echoing throughout the Samsara forest. Because of the use of the white tiger battle formation, the Samsara soldiers had killed another 50,000 Wuhuan cavalry. If not for the fact that the Wuhuan cavalry had been completely defenseless at the beginning, this number would have been doubled or even more. At this moment, the white tiger disappeared, and Yi Chen and the 10,000 Samsara Legion instantly appeared. Sure enough, after the White Tiger battle formation was affected by the trees, it could only exert 1/20th of its power. However, it was enough to give the ambushers more time to attack and save time to come into contact with the Wuhuan cavalry. At this thought, Yi Chen pointed the Godslayer at the Wuhuan cavalry, who were both terrified and dumbfounded, and roared, "Kill! Kill! Kill! Kill!" The Samsara Legion roared in unison and charged toward the Wuhuan cavalry with Yi Chen. They're the regular army of the Great Han Empire. It's the regular army of the Great Han Empire. A Wuhuan cavalryman suddenly cried out in alarm. Pucci! This Wuhuan cavalryman was instantly pierced through by Yi Chen's spear and thrown into the air. Blood sprayed into the air, splattering the surrounding trees red. Yi Chen did not even look and continued to charge forward. Any Wuhuan cavalry that appeared within 2 meters of him was killed by Yi Chen's spear without exception. As for the other Wuhuan cavalry, they were mercilessly slaughtered by the Samsara Legion that had followed closely behind Yi Chen. Whether the Wuhuan cavalry fled or counterattacked, not a single one of them could last more than a breath. Yi Chen was very fast, but the Samsara Legion was not slow either. Yi Chen was brutal and merciless. The Samsara Legion was just as decisive and merciless. It's the regular army of the Great Han Empire. Leader. It's the regular army of the Great Han Empire. We've been ambushed by the Great Han Empire. Leader. Save me, I don't want to die. A spy must have leaked our whereabouts. Attack quickly. Damn it. Why are you running? The Wuhuan cavalrymen had already been frightened by the ambush. Then, they had been frightened by the White Tiger battle formation. Now, Yi Chen had led the Samsara Legion into a frenzy. The Wuhuan cavalry at the front crumbled. They no longer had the courage to resist. They screamed and cried as they fled for their lives. Despicable and shameless Han people. Hu Che-er, go and kill that despicable Han general. All of you attack. Kill those bastards on the tree. Kill anyone who dares to retreat. A furious roar suddenly rang out. This angry roar was obviously extremely angry, and the voice carried a hint of exhaustion. It was easy to imagine how loud he had shouted. Yi Chen, who was frantically killing the Wuhuan cavalrymen, smiled coldly and shouted, "White Tiger battle formation? Kill! Kill! Kill!" The Samsara Legion roared in unison. The extremely strong killing intent gathered once again, and then formed an incomparably huge white tiger in the sky. Roar! The earth-shattering roar rang out again, and the white tiger landed, enveloping Yi Chen and the Samsara Legion. The brutal and merciless killing intent surged once again, and then turned into a stream of light that flashed and disappeared. Bang! 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 A series of explosive sounds followed. Chapter 129. The 100-meter path was cleared again, leaving only a thick blood mist and tiny bits of tree dust. The appearance of the White Tiger shocked the Wuhuan cavalry again, interrupting their attack on the Samsara ambush. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Arrows were shot at the Wuhuan cavalry. Puff puff puff. Miserable howls and screams rang out once again. "Despicable Han general, shameless!" someone shouted. A bare-chested man wearing animal skin and carrying an enormous hammer rushed over. "Quick! Fight back! Fight back! Kill whoever dares to retreat. Whoever dares not to fight back, their wives and children will be enslaved, and their cattle and sheep will be confiscated." This was Tuduan's roar. Tuduan, who was in the middle of the Wuhuan cavalry, looked like a mad demon with bloodshot eyes. He came to the Samsara forest full of confidence to kill the blue-eyed Tiger King, take back the 15,000 ballistae, and steal the treasure guarded by the blue-eyed Tiger King. But now, he was ambushed by a shameless Han general. What was even more unbelievable was that more than half of his soldiers were mercilessly shot to death, and they didn't even touch a hair of the enemy. How could Xie Dun not be angry? How could he not go crazy? As soon as Tuduan's voice fell, the remaining Wuhuan cavalry's expressions changed. Tuduan's threat hit their sore spot, which was exactly what the Wuhuan cavalrymen were worried about. They were afraid of being killed, of being enslaved, and of having their cattle and sheep confiscated. In the next second, the Wuhuan cavalry howled and started to fight back. They didn't want to lose their useful wealth and women, and they didn't want to be executed if they fled back. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Arrows flew in the air. Some came from the Samsara ambush, while others came from the Wuhuan cavalry. Both sides fought back and forth, arrows flying back and forth non-stop. Corpses kept appearing one after another. Among the corpses, only a few were from the Samsara ambush, but most were from the Wuhuan cavalry. The Samsara ambush was well equipped and hiding in the trees, so it was difficult to aim. The Wuhuan cavalry, on the other hand, had a wide field of vision under the trees. They could dodge the arrows on one side but not the arrows on the other. At the vanguard of the Wuhuan cavalry, Yi Chen curled his lips in disdain. Idiot, if I didn't set up an ambush, wouldn't my troops die a lot? Yi Chen naturally heard Xiedun's roar, but Yi Chen was too lazy to respond to Xiedun. Yi Chen didn't care even if he was angered to death. After Yi Chen thought about it, he looked at the man who was rushing towards him. He couldn't help but frown. At first glance, he didn't look burly, but the big hammer he was carrying wasn't light. It was obvious that he was extremely strong. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to use such a heavy weapon. Huh! What did he call him just now? Yi Chen suddenly thought of something and couldn't help but stare blankly. At this moment, a wild, beast-like roar came from the man's mouth. I am Hu Che-er. Despicable Han General, do you dare to fight with me? Kill! 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 The Samsara Legion's roar was filled with killing intent. This foreign man in front of them dared to insult their lord. How could the Samsara Legion not be angry? Hu Che-er. Are you Hu Che-er? Yi Chen narrowed his eyes and asked. Yes, despicable Han General, do you dare to announce your name? Hu Che-er's eyes widened as he roared. Hu Che-er, damn, so it's Hu Che-er, isn't he following Zhang Xiu? Why is he following Xiedun now? This bastard was the one who stole Dian Wei's halberds and assassinated Dian Wei, causing Dian Wei to die in Zhang Xiu's rebellion. Although Dian Wei is following me now, this history damn. This bastard must die. Thinking of this, Yi Chen pointed the Godslayer at Hu Che-er and coldly shouted. Great Han Empire's General Pacifying North, First Rank Viscount Yi Chen. General Pacifying North. After hearing Yi Chen's words, Hu Che-er stared blankly. He clearly didn't expect General Pacifying North to ambush them. Leader. Not good. The Great Han Empire has sent a Rank 3 General Pacifying North to attack us. A scream suddenly came out of the mouth of a Wuhuan cavalry leader. Xiedun, who was attacking the Samsara troops hiding in the trees, suddenly had a change in expression. How is that possible? Didn't that bullshit emperor of the Great Han Empire send Gong Sunzan? How come there's another General Pacifying North? At this moment, a man dressed as a leader anxiously shouted at Xiedun. Leader, General Pacifying North is a Rank 3 general of the Great Han Empire. He can lead at least 300,000 troops. Should we retreat first? That's right, Chief. More than half of our people have been killed in this ambush. The rest of us don't want to fight anymore. It's better for us to hurry back. Another Wuhuan leader advised. Bastard. That damned bastard, if we were in the grasslands. If we were in the grasslands. I would definitely pull out his tendons and skin him alive. Xiedun fiercely looked at Yi Chen's position and angrily roared. Chapter 130. Leader, let's leave quickly. If we don't leave now, we'll all die here. Another Wuhuan leader shouted in panic. They were already frightened when they were ambushed. Now that they found out that the person who ambushed them was the Great Han Empire's Rank 3 General Pacifying North, many of the Wuhuan leaders were frightened. The Great Han Empire had never sent such a high-ranking general to deal with them. Now that one had suddenly appeared, They felt that the great Han Emperor was serious this time and was determined to eradicate them. Otherwise, why would he send General Pacifying North? They didn't want to fight with General Pacifying North, who could command at least 300,000 soldiers. Moreover, they hadn't even done anything yet, and more than half of their subordinates had already been ambushed. If they continued to fight, they would become a general without an army. They might even have to pay with their own lives. The majority of people thought this way. Even Xie Dun was no exception. Xie Dun, who was used to being domineering, was also frightened when he heard that General Pacifying North was ambushing them. "Let's go." Xie Dun gritted his teeth and looked at Yi Chen's position. Then he roared angrily. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. After Xie Dun left, the arrows from Samsara's ambushing troops shot down even more fiercely. "Damn bastard! Bastard! Despicable! Shameless!" Xie Dun turned his head and dodged an arrow that was shot at him, roaring furiously. "Leader, let's go. Otherwise, if General Pacifying North gets rid of Hu Che-er, we'll all die." A Wuhuan leader shouted anxiously. "Go!" Xie Dun's expression changed and he shouted with a sinister expression. After shouting, he hurriedly ran out of Samsara forest. Whoosh whoosh whoosh, arrows rained down. Samsara's ambushing troops didn't want to miss this opportunity to beat them while they were down. Save me, don't leave me behind. I don't want to die, save me. Don't go, bastard, pull me up." The screams and cries of the Wuhuan cavalrymen rang out one after another as they retreated. At the vanguard of the Wuhuan cavalry, "Xie Dun, how dare you abandon me like a chess piece?" Hu Che-er was preparing to deal with Yi Chen. But at this time, he heard the words of Xie Dun and the other leaders. He immediately became angry. "Trash, Xie Dun has abandoned you. Why aren't you kneeling and surrendering?" Yi Chen sneered when he saw this. When Hu Che-er heard Yi Chen's ridicule, he immediately became angry. Then he rushed towards Yi Chen and roared, "Since you are General Pacifying North, do you dare to fight me fair and square?" Hu Che-er, second-rate historical general, emperor-level general, aptitude, S-class combat power, 93 bone frame, 92 spirit, 86 cultivation method, barbaric bull technique, emperor-level skill, heaven-shaking hammer, emperor-level equipment, earn gold hammer, earth grade, general, kill this Han general, kill him. Avenge our fallen brothers. A Wuhuan cavalryman roared with bloodshot eyes. Yes, kill this despicable and shameless Han general. He only knows how to use sneak attacks. Kill him. Kill all his soldiers. Break his legs. I want to torture him severely and let him know the consequences of insulting our Wuhuan warriors. General is invincible. Smash this Han general to death. Smash him. When the Wuhuan cavalrymen heard that Xie Dun was going to retreat, they all panicked. However, they could not retreat, nor did they dare to retreat. Otherwise, what awaited them would be Xie Dun's merciless butcher's knife. They were abandoned, used to cover the rear, so they could only stay here. Even if they died, they had to die here. They originally felt that the sky was falling, but they suddenly saw Hu Che-er challenge Yi Chen to a one-on-one duel. This suddenly aroused the hope in their hearts. In their hearts, Hu Che-er was a fierce person. He was a giant hammer that no one could stop and defeat. As long as they defeated Yi Chen and captured Yi Chen, they would be able to live. Even if Hu Che-er accidentally killed Yi Chen, they would be able to follow Hu Che-er out of the encirclement of the Han soldiers in front of them. In their opinion, they had a chance to live, so they all roared with anticipation and excitement. "Idiot! Die!" Yi Chen smiled coldly and then shouted, thrusting his spear at Hu Che-er. Yi Chen's spear was simple and crude. Anyone who saw it would be able to see it. However, Hu Che-er was shocked by Yi Chen's simple and crude spear. He suddenly had a feeling that this seemingly inconspicuous spear could not be dodged. If he dodged, he would die. "Bastard!" Hu Che-er roared angrily. Then, he raised his hammer and smashed it at Yi Chen's Godslayer. Even if he could not dodge, he could still smash it. Hu Che-er did what he thought and smashed his hammer at the Godslayer. Dang! A loud sound was heard. Hu Che-er's expression changed instantly because he felt a huge force rushing towards his wrist. He almost lost his grip on his hammer. Yi Chen frowned. This was because the Godslayer had been smashed to the side even though it was twice as strong as a god of guns. Motherf asterisk Kerr, this bastard was really talented. His brute strength was amazing, otherwise, he would not have been able to smash the Godslayer. Yi Chen followed the direction where the Godslayer was smashed and then took back the Godslayer. You are the first person I have met who is as strong as me. Hu Che-er squinted his eyes. His arrogance disappeared and he said seriously, "How can the light of a firefly compete with the brilliance of the sun and the moon? Trash! I will show you what true strength is." Yi Chen opened his eyes and shouted. Then, he raised the Godslayer and smashed it at Hu Che-er's head. Woo! The air actually exploded because of the God-slaying spear's movement. Hu Che-er's expression changed drastically. He did not have time to think. He quickly raised his hammer to block the Godslayer. Boom! A deafening explosion took place all of a sudden. Nay, the warhorses, which were extremely difficult to handle, actually snorted and kicked their hooves anxiously because of this explosion. After blocking the God-slaying spear, Hu Che-er's face instantly turned deathly pale. Yi Chen sneered. He raised the Godslayer again without hesitation and smashed it at Hu Che-er. Boom! Another loud sound rang out, causing the surrounding Wuhuan cavalry to retreat. They were all dumbfounded. PFFF! Hu Che-er could not help but spit out a mouthful of blood. Wu! The Godslayer was raised again and smashed down. Boom! The muffled explosion occurred again. Hu Che-er's knees were smashed into the ground. Woo boom, again and again, Yi Chen's Godslayer was used as a stick by Yi Chen. He kept smashing it at Hu Che-er. Until the final blow, Hu Che-er's head along with the golden hammer exploded into pieces with a boom, turning into a pile of debris on the ground. Chapter 131. Victory! 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 When the Samsara Corps saw Yi Chen tyrannically smash Hu Che-er to death, they raised their arms and cheered. At this moment, no one in the Samsara Legion was not excited. The surrounding Wuhuan cavalry looked at Hu Che-er's head on the ground with pale faces. His brain matter was mixed with blood. Red and white splashed all over the place. Hu Che-er was dead. Before he could appear in history, he was smashed to death by Yi Chen. Looking at the two shining items on the ground, Yi Chen picked them up. At this moment, the system notification sounded. Ding! Congratulations to player Yi Chen for killing a second-rate historical general, Hu Che-er. Reward: 5 million merit points. Hearing the system notification, Yi Chen couldn't help but raise his eyebrows. Damn, this merit point is... Before Yi Chen could finish being happy, the world notification sounded. Ding! Congratulations to player Yi Chen for being the first to kill a second-rate historical general, Hu Che-er. Reward: 5 million merit points, innate attribute points x3. Ding! Congratulations to player Yi Chen for being the first to kill a second-rate historical general, Hu Che-er. Reward: 5 million merit points, innate attribute points x3. Ding! Congratulations to player Yi Chen for being the first to kill a second-rate historical general, Hu Che-er. Reward: 5 million merit points, innate attribute points x3. As soon as the world notification appeared, the entire world channel exploded. Damn! Damn! What did I just see? A second-rate historical general, Hu Che-er, was killed by Yi Chen just like that? F***ck, boss Yi Chen is too awesome. He's a second-rate historical general. How could he just kill him like that? He's still a military general. According to historical records, this Hu Che-er was very strong. However, He killed Dian Wei. I think Boss Yi Chen killed Hu Che because of this. F***ck. What a waste. Don't kill him. Capture him and sell him to me. I don't have 10 billion, but I'm willing to pay 800 million or 1 billion. F***ck. The person above me must be a tycoon. But, no matter how rich you are, you still need Boss Yi Chen to be willing to sell it to you. Ha ha ha, well done, Boss Yi Chen. Kill all the famous historical generals. It's best if none of them are left alive. Yi Chen, Yen Wang Alliance is buying historical generals at a high price. No matter if they are unrated, third-rate, or second-rate, we will buy them all. Price is not a problem. Templar Town is purchasing historical figures at a high price. If General Ping Bei doesn't want them, you can contact us. Beauty Town is purchasing historical figures at a high price. If General Ping Bei wants to sell, you can contact us at any time. The conditions are negotiable. Yi Chen glanced at the World Channel and curled his lips in disdain. F***ck. How could historical figures be sold just like that? I don't think it's enough. If it weren't for the historical record saying that this Hu Che harmed Dian Wei, how could I kill him? Thinking about this, Yi Chen looked at his stats page. He had just received 3 innate stat points. Looking at his 93 points in bone structure, Yi Chen directly added all 3 innate stat points to it. Yi Chen. Second-class Earl, General Ping Bei, Samsara City Lord, title. Spear God, specialty. When using spear-type weapons, attack x2, accuracy x2, comprehension plus 100. An Emperor-level general. Level. 95 reputation, 11. 35 million, increases attractiveness to historical figures. Merit, 12. 39 million force. 94, Emperor rank general's force is 93, 94, 95. Emperor rank general's force is 96, 97, 98. Saint rank general's force is 99,100. Bone structure, 96 spirit, 100 fortune, hidden cultivation method, 9 cycle mysterious technique, primal chaos, Shinshao imperial lightning technique, primal chaos, skills, basic spear technique, divine rank, equipment, Godslayer, damaged, innate treasure, black cloud armor, dark rank, genuine money, 1,222,000 purple gold items, Yang restoration pill x3, general soul, king rank, x1 bull technique, emperor rank, genuine x1, earn golden hammer, earth rank, genuine x1. With 4 more innate stat points in bone structure, he could reach 100 in advance to the Khanate Taoism aptitude. Yi Chen's eyes lit up as he thought about this. He pointed the Godslayer in his right hand in the direction of Thuden. Kill! 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 The Samsara Legion shouted in unison and then rushed forward with Yi Chen. The Wuhuan cavalry were so scared that they didn't even have the chance to kneel down and surrender. They were killed on the spot by the Samsara Legion. Yi Chen quickly caught up with the fleeing Wuhuan cavalry. They ran very fast, but no matter how fast they ran, they couldn't outrun Yi Chen. Moreover, the Samsara soldiers lying in ambush on the trees had never stopped attacking them. Kill! A loud shout suddenly came from the front, followed by shouts of killing. Kill! 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 At this moment, Zhao Meng led 5,000 Samsara soldiers in front of Thuden and the others. When Thuden saw someone blocking his way, he was so angry that he couldn't breathe properly and spat out a mouthful of blood. General Ping Bei, you're shameless! Thuden roared angrily. At this moment, Thuden wanted to eat Yi Chen's flesh and drink Yi Chen's blood. Damn it, they just wanted to hunt and steal some treasures, but they were ambushed and more than half of them were killed. Along the way, in order to run faster, he even lost his warhorse. Well, more than half of his subordinates who were still alive died. Just as they were about to escape, a group of people appeared in front of them. At this moment, a loud shout came. White Tiger Formation! Chapter 132. Kill, kill, kill. The Samsara army shouted in unison. Extremely dense killing intent instantly erupted. Then, they soared into the sky and gathered in one place. Roar! A deafening tiger roar filled with murderous intent followed. It's that tiger. That General Pingbei is catching up. A Wuhuan cavalryman screamed. No. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. Someone save me, that tiger is a monster. It eats people without spitting out their bones. Spare me, I surrender. I surrender. At this moment, the expression on Jie Dun's face changed dramatically. He had wanted to skin Yi Chen and drink Yi Chen's blood, but now that the white tiger had reappeared, Tuduan felt worse than if he had eaten a dead fly. General Pingbei. Stop right there. Jie Dun roared furiously at the white tiger, which had surrounded Yi Chen and the Samsara Legion after landing, with bloodshot eyes. Tuduan did not want any more of his subordinates to be killed. Of course, he did not want to die. He was the leader of the Wuhuan Legion. As long as he was willing to surrender, he would not die. This was something that appeared frequently in his memories. The Wuhuan Legion had surrendered to the Great Han Empire countless times, but nothing had happened. This time was no exception. However, Tuduan could not take this lying down. It would have been fine if he had been defeated fair and square, but that was not the case. He had been ambushed and defeated. Therefore, Tuduan felt that even if he had to surrender, he had to do it unyieldingly. Otherwise, he would not be able to take it lying down. However, at this moment, a deafening roar was heard again. Roar! A brutal and merciless murderous aura surged in an instant. Then, the huge white tiger charged towards the Wuhuan cavalry. In the next second, a stream of light flashed past. Bang bang bang! A series of explosive sounds followed. However, this time, the stream of light did not disappear like before. Not only did it not disappear, it pounced forward again. Once, twice, thrice, until the 12th time, the stream of light disappeared and the white tiger appeared. At this moment, the murderous eyes of the tiger looked at the remaining Wuhuan cavalrymen with a soul-shaking murderous intent. Plop, plop, plop. A series of kneeling sounds could be heard one after another. The remaining Wuhuan cavalrymen were terrified. They felt the call of death, the bone-chilling fear that came from the depths of their souls. Ah, no. Don't kill me, woo woo woo. I surrender, I surrender. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. Please, spare me. A mocking gaze flashed in the tiger's eyes. Then, it saw the incomparably huge white tiger turn into motes of light and dissipate into the air. At the same time, Yi Chen and the 10,000 Samsara Legion also appeared in front of Ku Dun. Behind Yi Chen, the road for 1,200 meters was completely barren, and the sky was filled with a thick blood mist. The bloody stench followed the strong wind and assaulted the nerves of Madan and his men. You. Trembling, Tuten pointed at Yi Chen and roared with a twisted face. Kill, kill, kill. The Samsara Legion raised their spears and shouted angrily. A thick murderous aura rushed toward Ku Dun. So what if Ku Dun was the leader? He was just a foreign race. How dare he disrespect their lord Yi Chen? He would kill him without mercy. The undisguised murderous intent of the Samsara Legion struck Ku Dun hard. His face turned deathly pale all of a sudden. He had tried his best to hold on and not kneel down, but now, he involuntarily took a few steps back and sat on the ground with a plop. How dare you be a leader? You are an insult to the word and the title of an emperor-level general. Yi Chen looked at Ku Dun with disdain. Ku Dun, second-rate historical general, emperor-level general, Wuhuan leader, aptitude, rank S martial strength, 95 aptitude, 91 mind, 68 cultivation technique, green wolf technique, emperor level, technique, green wolf saber technique, emperor level, equipment, green wolf saber, earth level, Ku Dun looked at Yi Chen's disdainful expression and heard Yi Chen's disdainful words. He was instantly enraged and a powerful aura erupted. Bang! A loud sound was heard. Ku Dun stood up. Whoosh! Ku Dun pulled out the green wolf saber and pointed it at Yi Chen. He roared, "Ignorant brat, do you dare to fight? Trash, you are not worthy." Yi Chen snorted coldly and shouted, You! Ku Dun went berserk and charged at Yi Chen with the green wolf saber. He had fallen for the trap. Yi Chen raised his eyebrows and stabbed with the Godslayer in his right hand. Yi Chen deliberately provoked Ku Dun so that he would not mention surrendering. Ku Dun was also an emperor-level general. Killing Ku Dun would make him the second person to kill an emperor-level general. There would be innate attribute points as a reward. Yi Chen was constantly thinking about improving his aptitude. After entering the wilderness, it was much more difficult to improve his aptitude compared to the Three Kingdoms novice area. In the Three Kingdoms novice area, if he wanted to improve his aptitude, he had to rely on innate attribute point. If he could get 10 innate attribute points, Yi Chen would definitely get more than 9. Yi Chen did not want to lose his innate attribute points for nothing, especially in the current situation. To Yi Chen, Ku Dun was an innate attribute point that could run. As long as he killed Ku Dun, he would get the innate attribute points. Chapter 133. Yi Chen purposely provoked Xie Dun and didn't ask him to surrender. His goal was to gain innate attribute point. If Xie Dun had really called out to surrender and then killed Xie Dun, the additional innate attribute points would not have appeared. Regardless of whether Yi Chen accepted it or not, there wouldn't be any additional attribute points. This was a setting set by the Wisdom Brain Pengu. In Yi Chen's previous life, someone had done this. Of course, he had killed a bandit leader. At that time, a group of people had attacked a mountain stronghold. The bandit leader saw that he couldn't win and immediately surrendered. However, he was still killed. The goal was to drop the bandit leader's skills and equipment. In the end, not a single hair dropped. Thus, Yi Chen purposely provoked Xie Dun and humiliated him in every possible way. His goal was to prevent Xie Dun from surrendering. Because Yi Chen had already sensed Xie Dun's thoughts of surrendering. Damn, if he asked Xie Dun to surrender, then wouldn't he have lost his innate attribute points for nothing? As for accepting Xie Dun, Yi Chen didn't have that thought. It was just a foreign race. Loyalty was really hard to raise. Even if he was a second-rate historical general, so what? Even if he was an emperor-level general, so what? Without loyalty, Yi Chen would throw him away like a pair of worn-out shoes. Dang! A loud sound rang out. The Godslayer was chopped by Xie Dun's green wolf blade onto the tip of the spear. At this time, Xie Dun roared with a ferocious expression, "Ignorant brat, die!" However, as soon as he finished speaking, his expression changed drastically. The expected slash didn't send the Godslayer flying. Not only did it not appear, but the Godslayer actually didn't move at all. Panic instantly rose in Xie Dun's heart. He was about to retreat. However, at this time, the Godslayer didn't stop stabbing at him. Poochie! The Godslayer instantly stabbed into Xie Dun's heart and came out from his back. You! How can you only be an emperor-level general? Xie Dun opened his mouth and spat out a mouthful of blood as he roared with a ferocious expression. I am indeed an emperor-level general. However, I am also the spear god. Yi Chen raised his eyebrows as he spoke indifferently. I can't accept this. I can't accept this. When Xie Dun heard this, his complexion immediately became as ugly as ash. Then, he raised his head and shouted loudly. Before he could finish shouting, Xie Dun breathed his last. Titan was indeed unwilling. He was not willing to be stabbed to death so easily. He was not willing to lose his life before he could enjoy the glory and wealth of the world. Not only was he unwilling, but he also regretted it. He regretted pretending to be tough, regretted fighting one-on-one, and regretted not directly shouting out the words of surrender. Yi Chen pulled back his right hand and the God-Slayer retracted. Poochie! A large amount of blood instantly gushed out from Dun's heart. A plop sound was heard. Jie Dun's corpse fell heavily to the ground. Looking at Dun's corpse, Yi Chen curled his lips in disdain. So what if he was unwilling? So what if he regretted it? He was still dead in the end. At this moment, the system's notification sound rang out. Ding! Congratulations to player Yi Chen for killing a second-rate historical general, the leader of the Wuhuan tribe, Xie Dun. Reward: 8 million merit points. Different statuses, different merit points. Not bad, not bad. Just as Yi Chen thought of this, the world announcement rang out. Ding! Congratulations to player Yi Chen for being the second person to kill a second-rate historical general, the leader of the Wuhuan tribe, Xie Dun. Additional reward: *** merit points, innate attribute points x3. The World Channel, which had not yet calmed down because of the world announcement of Yi Chen killing Hu Che, exploded in an instant. Holy shit! Another one! What is Boss Yi Chen trying to do? Not only did he kill a second-rate historical general, he killed another one in such a short time? Xie Dun, the leader of the Wuhuan tribe. Damn, that's also a famous historical figure. He hasn't even made an appearance yet and he was already killed by Yi Chen. Damn, Boss Yi Chen is just too awesome. I can't help but admire him. Did you see that? A second-rate historical general is just trash in Boss Yi Chen's eyes. I don't understand. That's a second-rate historical general. Damn, does he have to be so ruthless? Wouldn't it be better to capture him and sell him? Idiot, selling a second-rate historical general. Isn't that helping your enemy? What would you do if it were you? What do you mean by helping your enemy? Boss Yi Chen doesn't have any enemies. No enemies? Are you kidding me? I heard that Boss Yi Chen killed countless players for that special quest of Diaochan's. He even killed the bosses of many forces. Would they make up with Boss Yi Chen? I don't believe it. Damn, that has nothing to do with us. Why do we care about that? I just want to know when Boss Yi Chen will start taking in underlings. I heard that some Lord-level players are starting to take in underlings. Even casual players like us can join them. Yeah, Boss Yi Chen, please take in underlings. I can kill tigers in the mountains and catch turtles in the rivers. No matter what Boss Yi Chen wants me to do, I'm willing to do it. Buying historical generals at a high price. Any conditions? Buying historical generals at a high price. If you want money, you have it. If you want resources, you have resources. If you want treasures, you have treasures. The World Channel was very lively, but the topic still revolved around Yi Chen. Yi Chen's World Channel was still open, so he naturally saw the words on it. Yi Chen didn't pay attention to the others, but when someone said that Lord-level players were starting to take in underlings, Yi Chen looked at it for 3 more seconds. Did they know that the village creation token could be used in the real world, or were they purely using the undying nature of the players in the 3 kingdoms to do other things? It didn't matter if they knew or used the players, as long as they didn't get in his way, otherwise, they would be enemies. Thinking of this, Yi Chen's eyes flashed coldly. General, I surrender. I surrender. Spare me. An incomparably terrified voice begged for mercy at this moment. A Wuhuan cavalryman knelt on the ground and kowtowed in fear. Plop, plop. The sound of people kneeling on the ground followed. General Pingbei, I surrender. I really surrender. Please, don't kill me. General, spare me. The remaining tens of thousands of Wuhuan cavalrymen were all panicking and begging for mercy. They were really scared. They were scared by Yi Chen. They were scared to the bone. In their eyes, Yi Chen was completely different from the other generals of the Great Han Empire. This lord really dared to kill. He didn't even spare Wuduan. If they wanted to live, they could only surrender and beg for mercy. Chapter 134. Yi Chen looked at the remaining Wuhuan cavalrymen in front of him, and was about to give the order to kill them all when he froze. The mental state of these Wuhuan cavalrymen seemed to be, they were terrified. Seeing this, Yi Chen's eyes suddenly widened, and a tyrannical aura instantly appeared. The remaining Wuhuan cavalrymen were already terrified, and when Yi Chen's aura appeared, they trembled even more violently. They were afraid of death, and they did not want to die. They had already surrendered and shouted. However, they were not sure if Yi Chen, the ferocious general of the great Han Empire, would accept their surrender. They were even worried that Yi Chen would kill them. Yi Chen had even killed Dun, so why would they not dare to kill him? You're all sinners. If you want to live, you'll have to atone for your sins. Yi Chen's cold and merciless voice rang out. When the remaining Wuhuan cavalrymen heard this, they were ecstatic. Thank you for sparing our lives, General. Thank you for sparing our lives. I'll atone for my sins, General. I'm willing to atone for my sins. We'll do whatever the General wants us to do. The remaining Wuhuan cavalrymen spoke, one after another. They were even willing to swear to show their determination. They did not care about being called sinners at all. As long as they could survive, they did not care about being called sinners. Yi Chen looked at the Wuhuan cavalrymen, who were ecstatic at being able to live, and sneered. Very good. Remember, sinners have to work hard, and even more so, your lives. Those who have done well will be rewarded. Those who have committed mistakes will be executed. Yi Chen's meaning was very simple. He wanted them to work for Samsara City, and even risk their lives on the battlefield. If a territory wanted to develop, it could not always be in a closed state. Yi Chen's territory had been upgraded to Samsara City. With a larger territory there were more people, more soldiers, and more people. His strength had also increased. Previously, being hidden by forests and surrounded by valleys would severely restrict the development of Samsara City. Take business for example. If the roads were not smooth, it would be impossible for business to develop. This was similar to having countless wild fruits in the mountains. They wanted to sell them but could not ship them out. Take the military for example. If the roads were not smooth, it would affect the speed at which troops could be sent out. Not long after, Yi Chen would continuously send troops to the outside world. If they missed the opportunity due to marching, then it would be too late for regrets. Therefore, the roads in Samsara City had to be repaired, and they had to be heavily repaired. And that was what the tens of thousands of Wuhuan cavalrymen were doing. As for putting their lives on the line, that was even simpler. These Wuhuan cavalry would be sent to the battlefield by Yi Chen as a suicide squad. Of course, Yi Chen would not only exploit them but not reward them. That is not desirable. This was the right way to treat the captives of the Wuhuan cavalry. They would be rewarded for their contributions. Perhaps it was money, or perhaps they would be given the identity of a reincarnated citizen. And if they did, there was only one result, and that was to kill them without mercy. As soon as Yi Chen finished speaking, the Wuhuan cavalryman heaved a sigh of relief and hastily shouted, "Let's go!" "Yes, yes, General. We are willing to work, willing to risk our lives." "My lord, did Xie Dun die just like that?" A voice filled with grievance suddenly sounded. It was Zhao Meng, who walked over with a conflicted expression. "Why? Do you still want to fight with him?" Yi Chen asked with a smirk. "I really want to fight with him. This way, I might be able to break through to the Emperor level." Zhao Meng nodded affirmatively and then said, "Wait a moment." Yi Chen laughed and then walked over to Xie Dun's body. He picked up the 3 balls of light, glanced at them, and casually tossed one to Zhao Meng. Zhao Meng was stunned when he caught it and then cried out in alarm, "My lord! This. What's this? You don't want it?" Yi Chen raised his eyebrows and then asked. "No, this." Zhao Meng was stunned and then hurriedly said, but he did not know what to say. "You are the first general to follow me, and also the first general to be loyal to me. It's just the soul of an emperor-level general. What's there to be reluctant about?" Yi Chen laughed and then said, I. When Zhao Meng heard this, he was instantly moved and his body began to tremble. Zhao Meng was able to become a king-level general all because of Yi Chen. He was already very moved. Now Yi Chen gave him an emperor-level general's soul. How could Zhao Meng control his emotions? Quickly use it! Yi Chen glared at Zhao Meng and then shouted, I obey. Zhao Meng tried hard to calm his emotions and then nodded vigorously. He opened his mouth and swallowed the general's soul. General's soul, Xie Dun, emperor level after use, can receive the general's lifetime knowledge. Yi Chen looked at Zhao Meng, who had his eyes closed and was quietly absorbing the Xie Dun general's soul, and smiled. Although this guy was a little rash, he was still very loyal. It would not be a waste to use it on him. Thinking up to this point, Yi Chen looked at his stats window and then added the 3 innate attribute points to his innate bone. Yi Chen, First Class Earl, General Pacifying North, City Lord of Samsara City, Title, Spear God. Characteristics: when using spear-type weapons, attack power x2, accuracy x2, comprehension plus 100, an Emperor-level general. Level: 96. Reputation: 11. 35 million, increases the attractiveness of historical figures. Merit: 30. 39 million. Martial power: 95. Emperor-level generals' martial power is 93, 94, 95. Emperor-level generals' martial power is 96, 97, 98. Saint-level generals' martial power is 99,100. Innate bone: 99 spirit, 100 fortune, hidden cultivation method, 9 revolutions. Mysterious art: chaos, divine night lightning manipulation technique, chaos, skills, basic spear technique, divine level, equipment, Godslayer, incomplete, innate treasure, black cloud armor, dark level, genuine money, 1,222,000 purple gold items. Yang restoration pill x3, general's soul, emperor level, x1, barbaric bull technique, emperor level, genuine, x1, earn golden hammer, earth level, genuine, x1, green wolf technique, emperor level, genuine, green wolf saber, earth level, genuine. This Xie Dun gave me a lot of experience, and I actually leveled up. Why did my martial power increase by 1 point? Wasn't there no change in martial power after the innate stage? Chapter 135. My previous martial strength was 94 points, but now it's 95 points. No. This point of martial strength was definitely due to leveling up. Thinking of this, Yi Chen frowned. Under normal circumstances, if one didn't break through to the innate stage, one's martial strength would be 90 points even at level 100. But after entering the innate stage, leveling up would not increase one's martial strength. To increase one's martial strength, one would need to cultivate, consume elixirs, or obtain innate attribute points. But the current situation clearly told Yi Chen that the martial strength was not ordinary. Based on the current situation, leveling up would definitely increase one's martial strength. Otherwise, it would not increase one's martial strength after leveling up. Then what was the problem? Yi Chen frowned and looked at the attribute panel again. After a few seconds, Yi Chen's gaze locked onto the attribute of the bone frame. Bone frame. It must be the bone frame. The only thing that changed in the attribute panel was the bone frame. I've been adding innate attribute points to the bone frame. Damn, no wonder those people in my previous life were so obsessed with treasures that could increase the bone frame. It turned out that the bone frame was not only helpful for cultivation and could increase the upper limit of one's cultivation, but it could also recover and level up to become stronger. Damn, thinking of this, Yi Chen's face was filled with joy. Fortunately, the bone frame still determined the upper limit of one's cultivation and could help to increase one's cultivation speed, and I was also working hard for the bone frame in the beginner's area of the 3 kingdoms. Otherwise, I would really miss this opportunity. In my previous life, Yi Chen was not doing well. In the beginner's area of the 3 kingdoms, his bone frame was always like that. In the prehistoric era, his bone frame did not improve at all. How could those who knew the secret of the bone frame be so selfless as to share it with others? And this also caused Yi Chen to subconsciously think that the bone frame was only used to help in cultivation and to increase the upper limit of one's cultivation. Of course, even this characteristic of the bone frame was something that Yi Chen had heard about by chance. Otherwise, Yi Chen would not have placed so much importance on the bone frame after his rebirth. Now, Yi Chen finally discovered another function of the bone frame, which was to restore the game feature of leveling up and becoming stronger. To put it simply, in this game world, after a player entered the innate realm, leveling up would be affected by their innate bone. It would no longer be like before, where leveling up would increase one's combat power. It wasn't that it couldn't be increased. It was just that the increase was very small, so small that it was almost unnoticeable. So much so that when it was displayed on the attribute panel, it was mistakenly thought that leveling up was useless. One could only cultivate, consume spiritual herbs, or innate attribute points to increase one's strength. Therefore, the key to increasing one's martial strength was one's bone frame. If one's aptitude was poor, one's martial prowess would remain the same even after leveling up. If one's bone structure was strong, their martial prowess would rise as well. The effects were obvious. Damn it, the bone structure was too important. As long as he continued to improve his constitution, he would still be able to maintain the characteristic of leveling up and becoming stronger when he reached the primordial world. Thinking of this, Yi Chen let out a long sigh. At this moment, a loud roar suddenly sounded. Roar! Zhao Meng's aura skyrocketed in an instant. His long hair danced in the wind, and the armor on his body rustled. He was about to complete his advancement. Yi Chen smiled and then looked at the Samsara troops that had just arrived. They had completed their ambush mission and killed more than half of the Wuhuan cavalry. Their contribution was not small. However, because of the Wuhuan cavalry's counterattack, some of them had died in battle, while others had suffered light or heavy injuries. Death could not be avoided in war. Yi Chen knew this, so he had been doing his best to prevent his subordinates from suffering too many casualties. Report the casualties. Yi Chen looked at the Kiliarchs of the Samsara troops and said, My lord, a total of 169 people died, 516 were seriously injured, and 3,091 were lightly injured. A Chiliarch heard Yi Chen's question and immediately bowed. If the people of this era knew of this number, they would definitely cry out that it was impossible, because the Wuhuan cavalry numbered 200,000. On the other hand, Samsara had only lost 169 people. However, this was the reality. Samsara had won a great victory. They had annihilated more than 150,000 Wuhuan cavalry and killed two second-rate emperor-level historical generals, Hu Che-er and Xie Dun. Xie Dun was the leader of the Wuhuan army. Yi Chen nodded and then said, The soldiers who died will be buried alive. Samsara City will be responsible for raising their children to adulthood. Samsara City will be responsible for their parents' retirement. Their families will receive a monthly pension of 1 gold and 3 years of tax exemption. In addition, they will be allocated 10 mu of fertile land and will be exempt from taxes for life. Hearing Yi Chen's words, all the soldiers were dumbfounded. When Yi Chen said all this, they had never imagined that the compensation for dying in battle would be so generous. They knew what the soldiers who died in the outside world would receive. At most, they would receive 10 or 20 silver, and that was only a small number. Most of the soldiers would only receive a few silver. Some might not even receive a single copper. But in Samsara City, they would receive a monthly pension of 1 gold. Just this 1 gold would be enough for a family to eat fish and meat every day and still have a lot left after a month. Not to mention that they would receive it every month. Moreover, The children of the soldiers who died in battle would be raised by Samsara City, and their parents would be sent to Samsara City. Finally, they would be given 10 mu of fertile land that would be exempt from taxes for life. At this moment, all the soldiers of Samsara City felt like they were in a dream. But these words came from their lord, Yi Chen. They believed it. They believed it without a doubt. Phew, all the soldiers of Samsara City began to breathe heavily and coarsely. It didn't matter if they were uninjured, injured, or seriously injured. Without exception, all of them opened their eyes wide. At this moment they were very excited because they had nothing to worry about. Even if they died in battle, they had nothing to worry about. Because their lord, Yi Chen, would take care of their families for them. What did soldiers fight for? Wasn't it to let their families live a good life? Yi Chen naturally saw the reaction of the soldiers and knew what they were thinking. They deserved what Yi Chen promised. Yi Chen could only do this to make it up to them. If they still had to worry about their families before they died in battle, Yi Chen would be too incompetent as a lord. Yi Chen sighed inwardly and then said, "Those who are seriously injured should be brought back to Samsara City for treatment as soon as possible. Those who are slightly injured should also go back and bandage them as soon as possible to prevent their wounds from getting infected. When you go back, report your military exploits and reward them according to their merit. Long live my lord! Long live my lord! Long live my lord!" Then, the soldiers shouted in unison. The title "Long live my lord" was actually not suitable for Yi Chen now. But for the soldiers, this was the only title that could express their feelings at this moment. They were excited. They were willing to give up their loyalty and even their lives for Yi Chen. In their hearts, Yi Chen was the only emperor they recognized. Chapter 136. Yi Chen looked at the incomparably excited Samsara soldiers and smiled, then opened his mouth and said, "Those who are free, clean up the battlefield. Gather the horses and transport them back to Samsara Valley. Then, send a group of people to bring the prisoners of war back to Samsara City." "Yes, my lord." The soldiers answered in unison and got to work. Those who carried the wounded carried the wounded, those who escorted the captives escorted the captives, and those who gathered the war horses gathered the war horses. The others went to clean up the battlefield and collect the weapons, armor, and other items that had been dropped. At this time, Guojia came over and bowed happily. "Congratulations, my lord. You have defeated the Wuhuan tribe and killed their leader, Jiedun. You have gained a lot of horses." When Yi Chen heard this, he couldn't help but smile. He then said, "Feng Shao, your plan didn't work. Are you disappointed?" "My lord, how could I be disappointed? I'm more than happy." Guojia was taken aback and then shook his head with a smile. The battlefield is constantly changing. Sometimes all we lack is an opportunity. Fortunately, these Wuhuan cavalrymen have never seen the White Tiger battle formation before. Otherwise, we would have suffered heavy losses this time. Yi Chen sighed and said, "My lord, you are so powerful and can seize the opportunity. How could you not win?" Guojia smiled and said, "Stop flattering me." Yi Chen glared at Guojia and asked, "Feng Shao, when do you think is the best time to send troops to Ping City?" Guojia smiled when he heard Yi Chen's question. He raised 3 fingers and said, 3 days later. "What's the reason?" Yi Chen frowned and asked. Guojia bowed and said, My lord, Dian Wei hasn't returned to Samsara City yet. If you go to the right north, either Zhao Meng or Dian Wei must stay behind. Otherwise, Samsara City will be in danger if there is any mistake." "What if?" Yi Chen was interrupted by Guojia before he could finish. "My lord, you can't." Guojia looked anxious. He was obviously worried about something. Yi Chen was slightly stunned. He didn't expect Guojia to react so strongly. He hadn't finished speaking yet. "Feng Shao, do you know what I want to say?" Yi Chen asked curiously. "My lord, do you want to personally lead the troops to attack the right north gate and leave Zhao Meng to guard Samsara City?" Guojia let out a long sigh and then asked, "Damn it. She really guessed what I was going to do." Yi Chen really planned to lead the army to attack Ping City on the right and leave Zhao Meng in Samsara City. When Dian Wei returned to the Samsara City, he would lead the troops to the right Beiping. By doing so, Yi Chen could kill Zhang Chun as soon as possible and cut off Gongsun Zan's path to rise. After all, Gongsun Zan had risen in Yuzhou province because of this rebellion. However, Yi Chen's Samsara City was in Liaoxi of Yuzhou. Yi Chen didn't want Yuzhou to be controlled by Gongsun Zan, which would greatly restrict Yi Chen's future development. However, Guojia didn't seem to agree. Seeing Yi Chen's expression, Guojia sighed, then bowed solemnly and said, "I'm sorry. My lord, I implore you to give up this idea. You are the lord of Samsara. You can't make any mistakes. Otherwise, the Samsara city will be severely damaged. It's true that Milord is an otherworldly and has the ability to revive. However, once Milord dies in battle, Milord's luck will definitely dissipate. Please reconsider, Milord." Yi Chen was stunned when he heard this. He didn't expect this to be the reason. Yi Chen certainly knew what Guojia said was true, but Yi Chen didn't worry about it at all. This was because Yi Chen was confident and confident. The 9 Revolutions' mysterious skill was a chaotic cultivation method. Although Yi Chen had only scratched the surface of it, he had become an Emperor-level general and could become an Emperor-level general at any time. Yi Chen's cultivation speed was fast and his physical body was not inferior. It could even be described as heaven-defying. Of course, it was only heaven-defying in the newbie area of the 3 kingdoms. At this moment, Yi Chen's physical body couldn't be hurt at all by an Earth-level weapon. Even an Earth-level weapon could only break Yi Chen's defense. If one wanted to seriously injure Yi Chen, one would need at least a heaven-level weapon. Moreover, Yi Chen had the armor and the Godslayer. As long as Yi Chen didn't want to get hurt, it was unlikely that he would get hurt. Thinking of this, Yi Chen couldn't help but smile. Then he said domineeringly, "In this world, there are only a few people who can hurt your lord. Zhang Chun is just a second-rate person. What can he do to me? Please reconsider, my lord." Guojia was slightly stunned and then bowed again. F***ck Yi Chen's face stiffened. He didn't expect Guojia to be so stubborn. He didn't approve of Yi Chen leading the troops personally. Gongsun Zan couldn't have killed Zhang Chun so quickly. Right now, he was probably still fighting with the rebel soldiers in some corner of the city. A few more days wouldn't make a difference. He hadn't gone offline for a few days. It was time to leave the game and see what was going on in the outside world. Thinking of this, Yi Chen nodded and said, "Okay, I'll leave the food and military equipment to Fengshao. In 3 days I'll lead the troops to battle." "Yes, my lord." Guojia heaved a sigh of relief and replied with a bow. Chapter 137. At this moment there was a loud bang. Zhao Meng, who had just advanced to the emperor level, knelt down on one knee and shouted with great determination, "This general thanks the Lord for his grace. This general swears that I will follow the Lord's orders. Even if it is a mountain of swords or a sea of fire, this general is willing to charge through it alone. I will have no regrets." He was extremely emotional. Yi Chen had made him who he was. Without Yi Chen, he wouldn't have been able to become a king-level general. Without Yi Chen, he wouldn't have been able to become an emperor-level general. Gratitude, gratitude. He was willing to give up everything for Yi Chen. Even if he had to give up his life, Zhao Meng wouldn't frown. This was Zhao Meng's current state of mind. Yi Chen smiled and walked over to Zhao Meng. He helped him up and said, "You just advanced. Don't think about anything else. Focus on comprehending the general soul. Only then can you stabilize your cultivation." "Yes, my lord." Zhao Meng nodded his head vigorously and said. Yi Chen patted Zhao Meng's shoulder and looked at Guojia. He asked, "Fengshao, how many war horses do you think we have?" at least 150,000 warhorses ready for battle. If the Lord hadn't used the White Tiger battle formation, there would have been 180,000. Guojia thought for a moment and said. Hearing this, Yi Chen raised his eyebrows and said, 150,000 is enough. My lord, should we submit a memorial to the imperial court? Guojia thought of something and asked. No need. This seems like a great contribution. In reality, most of the credit belongs to Zhang Chun and Qiu Liju. Only by killing them can the Yuzhou rebellion be quelled. Yi Chen smiled and said, My lord, Qiu Liju is very good at changing side. If you want to kill Qiu Liju, you have to send troops quickly. Otherwise, when he receives the news, he will surrender immediately. Guojia nodded and said. Yi Chen nodded and asked, Fengshao, how long do you think it will take for Qiu Liju to hear the news of me killing Dun? My lord, it will take at least 15 days for the news of Sutton's destruction to reach Qiu Liju. After all, Sutton sent out 200,000 soldiers. In the eyes of his people, it is impossible for all of them to be wiped out. If Sutton doesn't return, they will think that Sutton went to do something else. Guojia bowed and said, 15 days is enough. Yi Chen nodded and said. At this moment, the soldiers who had been cleaning up the battlefield returned one after another. Yi Chen couldn't help but smile as he looked at the warhorses that covered the mountains. Return to Samsara City. Yes, my lord. The soldiers of Samsara City answered in unison. Tens of thousands of Samsara City soldiers followed Yi Chen back to Samsara City with their trophies. Reincarnation Valley entrance. As soon as Yi Chen arrived, a wave of congratulations rang out. Welcome back, my lord. Victory at the start and victory at home. Welcome back, my lord. Victory at the start and victory at home. Yi Chen looked at the endless crowd of Samsara City citizens and saw their heartfelt smiles. He couldn't help but smile. Then, he led his troops back to Samsara City. Samsara City, City Governor's Mansion. My lord, the people of Samsara City are so friendly. Guojia said to Yi Chen, who had just sat down with a conflicted expression. You are a rich bachelor. You are good at drinking, and you are a womanizer. Who else can those unmarried girls look for other than you? It will be easier for them to take advantage of you when they are familiar with you. Yi Chen laughed and said. On the way back to Samsara City with Yi Chen's troops, Guojia was taken advantage of by numerous unmarried girls. Hearing this, Guojia was even more conflicted. He said with a wry smile, My lord, please don't make fun of me. Although I like to drink and get drunk often, I have never done anything reckless. You can settle this matter yourself. Your lord doesn't care about this. Yi Chen said with a smile. Sigh. Guojia sighed with a conflicted expression. Yi Chen looked at Guojia's conflicted expression and shook his head helplessly. Then, he looked at Zhao Heng and said, Start building a wall at the entrance of Samsara Valley. It must be 100 meters high and 20 meters wide. There is only one requirement. It must be sturdy. My lord, such a wall will cost. Zhao Heng was stunned for a moment before he spoke. Build it regardless of the cost. Build it no matter how much it costs. Yi Chen waved his hand and said, My lord, are you worried that there will be enemies attacking Samsara City? Guojia looked at Yi Chen and asked doubtfully. I'm not worried. There will definitely be. In a month or so, the great Han Empire will be in turmoil. Yi Chen shook his head and said, My lord, are you talking about the yellow turban? Guojia was slightly taken aback and asked. There will be them. There will also be some non-human beings. Yi Chen nodded and said. Yi Chen waved his hand and purple coins appeared on the ground in the main hall of the city lord's residence. Here are 200,000 purple coins. It should be enough. If you don't have enough, find me. The wall must be built within a month. Zhao Heng was stunned when he saw the purple coins on the ground. He didn't expect Yi Chen to take out so much money at once. One purple gold coin was equivalent to 10,000 gold. 200,000 purple gold coins was equivalent to 2 billion gold. Zhao Heng had never seen so much money before. When he came back to his senses, Zhao Heng hurriedly bowed and said, "My lord, I will definitely build the wall within a month." Yi Chen nodded and said, "Samsara city also needs to be built. The roads in the Samsara forest also need to be built. Whether it is building roads or walls, we can ask the Wuhuan prisoners of war to do it. They will do the hard work. Those who are lazy and slack off will be punished. Those who should be killed will be killed. Those who perform well will be rewarded appropriately." "Yes, my lord." Zhao Heng bowed and replied. Yi Chen looked at Guojia and asked, "Feng Shao, when you were studying in Yingchuan, you should have a few good friends, right? Are they interested in becoming officials?" "My lord, I will write a letter in a moment and tell them to come to Samsara city." Guojia was slightly taken aback and then bowed. Guojia naturally understood what Yi Chen meant. Wasn't it still necessary to recruit more talented people? Guojia had already recognized Yi Chen as his master and was loyal to him. He naturally wouldn't fool Yi Chen about this matter. Yi Chen smiled and said, Tell them to come. The more the better." Chapter 138. I can understand your desire to recruit all the talents in the world, but I only have a few friends. Guojia smiled bitterly and said, "It doesn't matter. I'll take as many as I can get." Yi Chen laughed and said. Yi Chen knew what kind of people Guojia's friends were. Even if they were not as talented as Guojia, they were still top-notch historical officials. Otherwise, Yi Chen would not have targeted Guojia's friends. Yi Chen would not refuse any top-notch historical officials or historical generals. The more, the better. Of course, this was just Yi Chen's idea. It also depended on whether they were willing to accept him as their master. However, as long as they came to Samsara city, Yi Chen would have the opportunity to recruit them. This was much more convenient than trying to recruit historical figures by chance. Yi Chen did not target Guojia because at that time, Samsara city was still a town and Yi Chen was only a viscount. Now, Samsara city had been upgraded to a city and was the best city in the world. Yi Chen was even a third-rank general who was a count. At this moment, Yi Chen's attractiveness to historical figures was like heaven and earth compared to before. There was no comparison at all. Guojia nodded and said, "My lord, I will do my best to complete this task." Yi Chen smiled and nodded. At this moment, a drawn-out voice was heard in the living room. "Report." Yi Chen was slightly surprised. He looked at the soldier who came to report and said, "Speak." "My lord, there is a young man at the entrance of Samsara Valley. He calls himself Zhao Zilong from Changshan and wants to look for his sister. However, he said the same name as Madam. Please make a decision." The patrolling soldier bowed and said, "Who is it?" Yi Chen was slightly stunned. Then, he suddenly stood up and asked loudly, "My lord, he calls himself Zhao Zilong from Changshan." Seeing Yi Chen so excited, the soldier hurriedly said, "Ha, let's go. Let's go to the entrance of the valley." Yi Chen's eyes widened when he heard this. Then, he threw his head back and laughed. After Yi Chen finished speaking, he left the living room. Guojia and Zhao Heng followed closely behind. Reincarnation Valley's entrance. As soon as Yi Chen arrived, he saw the young man standing quietly at the entrance of the valley. He wore a white robe, had a slender figure, and a pair of sword-like eyebrows. Although he was young, his face was full of resoluteness. Especially his eyes, which inadvertently revealed a sharpness, let people know that he was not ordinary. When the patrolling soldiers saw Yi Chen, they all knelt on one knee and shouted, "Greetings, my lord!" Yi Chen nodded and walked towards the young man. The young man naturally heard the shouts of the soldiers, but he also saw Zhao Heng behind Yi Chen. He was stunned for a moment, but then he bowed with great joy and said, "Zilong greets second uncle." When Yi Chen heard this, his eyes lit up. It was really Zhao Yun, Zilong, this is my lord, General Pingbei of the Great Han Empire, the governor of Reincarnation City, Yichen. Come and greet him. Zhao Heng nodded with a smile and then said. Zhao Yun nodded and then bowed to Yichen. Zhao Yun of Changshan greets General Pingbei. His voice was neither servile nor overbearing, but it carried the proper respect. Yichen looked at Zhao Yun with shining eyes and then said happily, This is not the place to talk. Come, follow me back to the governor's mansion. I'm afraid you can't wait. Little Yu. Is Little Yu really here? When Zhao Yun heard this, his body could not help but tremble. His calm face disappeared immediately. Of course she's here. Not only that, but Little Yu has also become the mistress of this old man. Zhao Heng laughed and then said. Zhao Heng deliberately put in a good word for Yichen, and pulled Zhao Yun closer to Yichen. Zhao Heng was not stupid. How could he not see Yichen's intention for Zhao Yun? It was obvious that Yichen wanted Zhao Yun to work for him. Instead of Yichen saying it, it was better for him to say it. This way, Zhao Yun would believe it more. When Zhao Yun heard this, he could not help but be stunned. He then looked at Yichen with a hint of scrutiny in his eyes. Yichen smiled indifferently. It could not be helped. Anyone who knew that his sister suddenly had a man would more or less observe him. Some would even investigate his background. Zilong. Suddenly, an excited roar came. They saw Zhao Meng galloping over on a warhorse. Before he arrived, his loud voice had already been heard. Big brother! Zhao Yun was stunned and then called out. However, when Zhao Yun saw the armor on Zhao Meng's body and the aura of an emperor-level general, he was stunned again. Whoa! Zhao Meng came close, pulled the reins, and jumped off the horse. My lord! Zhao Meng bowed to Yichen. Yichen smiled and nodded. Zhao Meng rushed to Zhao Yun's side and hugged Zhao Yun. Then, he patted Zhao Yun's back hard. Little brat, you've grown taller and stronger, Zhao Meng said with a smile. Chapter 139. Alright, let's not talk here. Let's go to the governor's mansion. Xiaoyu must be waiting anxiously. Zhao Heng looked at Zhao Meng and Zhao Yun and said with a smile. Yes, let's go. Zilong, let's go see Xiaoyu. Zhao Meng quickly nodded and said. Yichen just looked at them with a smile and did not say a word. This was not the right time for Yichen to interrupt. Yichen knew this. General, Zhao Yun has disturbed you. Zhao Yun looked at Yichen and said apologetically. We are family. There is no need to be so polite. Let's go. Yichen laughed and said. After saying that, he led the way to the governor's mansion. Zhao Yun looked at Yichen's back in surprise. Then, he smiled and followed Yichen to the governor's mansion. Originally, Zhao Yun thought that Yichen would at most say a few polite words to him, and this was for Zhao Yu's sake. After all, he was just a warrior and came from a poor family. Yichen, on the other hand, was a rank 3 general pacifying the north in the Great Han Empire. His status was obvious. However, the reality was very different from what Zhao Yun thought. Yichen sincerely invited Zhao Yun. His words were full of kindness and there was no falsehood in them. Naturally, Zhao Yun was able to see and sense this. No matter how fake it was, it could not be real. Therefore, after confirming that Yichen really treated him as a family, Zhao Yun's entire body relaxed quite a bit. In the living room of the governor's mansion in Samsara City. After receiving the news that Zhao Yun was coming, Zhao Yu ran here early and waited for Zhao Yun. As for meeting Zhao Yun in the backyard, Yichen could not casually ask Zhao Yun to go to the backyard now because he still had a Diaochan. Not long after, Yichen brought Zhao Yun, Guojia, Zhao Heng, and Zhao Meng to the living room. Brother! Zhao Yu, who was pacing back and forth in the living room, saw Zhao Yun behind Yichen. She was so excited that she burst into tears and then choked with sobs. Little Yu. When Zhao Yun saw Zhao Yu, he instantly relaxed and called out. His voice was a little hoarse, obviously because of his excitement. Previously, Zhao Yun went down the mountain and found that his sister was missing when he returned home. After asking around, he chased her all the way to Yuzhou and the Reincarnation Valley. Zhao Yun was worried the entire way. In this world, he only had one sister. If anything were to happen to Zhao Yu, he would never forgive himself for the rest of his life. Now that he saw Zhao Yu, Zhao Yun was finally sure that Zhao Yu was living a happy life. At this moment, the big stone in his heart finally fell to the ground. Go and prepare some food and wine. Yi Chen looked at the maid at the door and ordered. Yes, General. The maid hurriedly bowed and then went to the kitchen. Zhao Yu wiped the tears from the corners of her eyes and then looked at Yi Chen and asked, Husband, I have something to say to my brother in private. Can I? Go ahead. There's a pavilion in the back. It's quiet there. Yi Chen was slightly taken aback and then said. Zhao Yu said that she wanted to talk to him in private. Yi Chen wouldn't ask, but Yi Chen knew that Zhao Yu wanted to take Zhao Yun to the back residence. Little Yu, if you have something to say it outside. I can't go to the back residence. Zhao Yun shook his head and said seriously. Yi Chen was stunned. He didn't expect that Zhao Yun wouldn't go to the back residence. He was a little old-fashioned, but he followed the rules. Just as Yi Chen thought of this, Zhao Yun left the living room and went to the front yard. Seeing this, Zhao Yu left the living room and went to the courtyard. Yi Chen shook his head helplessly and then waved his hand. The maid in the yard then left. At this time, Guojia looked at Yi Chen and said with a smile, My lord, Zhao Zilong is extraordinary. My lord, I see that Zhao Zilong's strength is extraordinary. I congratulate my lord for getting another tiger general. It's not even set in stone yet. Yi Chen sighed and then continued. If I can get Zilong to join me, the name of Samsara City will be known all over the world soon. My lord, didn't you notice that mistress went there for this? Guojia said indifferently. Yi Chen was slightly stunned and then looked at Zhao Yu in the yard. It was really not a family matter. If she really wanted to persuade Zhao Yun to join me, who knows, this might actually work out. Yi Chen had thought of asking Zhao Yu to persuade Zhao Yun to join Samsara City. Yi Chen did not expect Zhao Yun to come so quickly. He was so happy that he forgot about it. Originally, Yi Chen had planned to hold a welcoming dinner for Zhao Yun today and then talk to Zhao Yu in the evening about asking Zhao Yun to join them. But now it seemed that there was no need. Yi Chen looked at Zhao Yu's gesture and felt warm in his heart. My lord, Zilong will definitely join Samsara City. Zhao Meng looked at Yi Chen and said with certainty, I think so too. Although everyone has their own ambitions, Zilong's only family in this world is Xiaoyu. Zhao Heng nodded and said. Yi Chen could not help but smile when he heard this, but he did not say anything. If super-historical generals were so easily subdued, there would not be so many historical figures in his previous life who were still buried in the dust of history. After the time it took for an incense to burn had passed, Zhao Yu walked into the living room with a joyful expression. She then gave Yi Chen a look. Yi Chen's eyes lit up when he saw this. It was done. My husband, I'll go back to the backyard first. Zhao Yu smiled, bowed to Yi Chen, and then walked to the backyard. Zhao Yun glanced at Zhao Yu and then looked at Yi Chen. With a bang, he knelt on one knee and shouted, Changshan Zhending, Zhao Yun, Zhao Zilong, is willing to join General Ping Bei. Please take me in. Hearing this, Yi Chen stood up with a bang. Damn it! He really recognized him as his master. At this moment, the system's prompt sounded. Ding! The super-historical General Zhao Yun, Zhao Zilong wants to recognize you as his master. Do you accept? Damn it, do I still need to consider? Accept. Ding. Congratulations to player Yi Chen for gaining the loyalty of the super-historical General Zhao Yun. After hearing the system's prompt, Yi Chen hurried forward, helped Zhao Yun up, and then said excitedly, If I can get Zilong's help, I will definitely succeed. Chapter 140. Hearing Yi Chen's undisguised praise, Zhao Yun was stunned. Then, he bowed solemnly and said, "Zhao Yun pays his respects to my lord." Zhao Yuni had left the mountain in preparation to enlist in the army, and then display all that he had learned. However, he didn't expect to meet Yi Chen in Samsara city in order to find his sister Zhao Yu. According to Zhao Yu's story, Zhao Yun found that Yi Chen was very different from ordinary generals and had the intention of recruiting him. After some consideration, Zhao Yun decided to join Yi Chen first. However, Zhao Yun didn't expect that Yi Chen valued him more than he had imagined. There was not the slightest falsehood in this regard. It was precisely because of this that Zhao Yun's current state of mind was somewhat unsettled. "Zilong, let me introduce you," Yi Chen said with a smile. Then, he led Zhao Yun to Guojia and said, "Guojia, Guofengshao, the military counselor of Samsara city." Guojia looked at Zhao Yun with a smile and cupped his hands. "Yingchuan, Guojia, and Guofengshao pay their respects to General Zilong." "You flatter me." "Zilong pays his respects to Chancellor Guo." Zhao Yun hurriedly cupped his hands to return the greeting. Yi Chen smiled and said, "Zilong, don't be modest. From now on, you will be a deputy general of Samsara city. Soon, I will lead the army to quell the rebellion and attack Wuhuan in the north. Zilong, do you have the confidence to follow me to quell the rebellion and wipe out the alien tribes?" Zhao Yun was stunned when he heard this. He didn't expect Yi Chen to really give him the position of deputy general. Moreover, Yi Chen was going to take him to quell the rebellion in Yuzhou and conquer Wuhuan. All of this coincided with Zhao Yun's purpose of coming to Yuzhou. Zhao Yun felt that Yi Chen valued him again. He took a deep breath and exhaled. Then, he got down on one knee and shouted, "Yun is willing to follow my lord to quell the rebellion and wipe out the alien tribes." At this moment, the world announcement sounded. Ding! Congratulations to player Yi Chen for being the second to gain the loyalty of the superclass historical general, Zhao Yun. Player Yi Chen is rewarded with 5 million reputation points and 10 million taels of gold. Ding! Congratulations to player Yi Chen for being the second to gain the loyalty of the superclass historical general, Zhao Yun. Player Yi Chen is rewarded with 5 million reputation points and 10 million taels of gold. After the world announcement, the world channel instantly became noisy. Damn it! What did I just seen? Zhao Yun has been acknowledged. My Zhao Yun. Damn, it's Yi Chen again. Is there any justice in this world? Is there any law? Ha, boss Yi Chen is really awesome. How long has it been? He just killed Hu Che Er and Guodun. Then, he turned around and took in Zhao Yun. Damn, there are only a few super first-rate historical generals. Yi Chen already has 2. How are we going to have fun with them? He took in Dian Wei and Guojia. Damn it, how long has it been? I was just asking how long has it been? Zhao Yun has also been taken in. I just want to know where boss Yi Chen's territory is. I want to see Zhao Yun. I heard that Zhao Yun is very handsome. Damn it, you're gay. Our family's Zhao Yun isn't gay. You sissy, hurry up and die. You have to be honest. Yi Chen, you can't take all the benefit. If you take in more people, I won't let you off. That's right. You can't bully people like this. It's enough to take in 1 historical general. You've already taken in 2. Now you've even taken in Zhao Yun. Can't we play happily? Templar Town congratulates General Pingbei on gaining a new Tiger General. In addition, we sincerely invite General Pingbei to visit Templar Town. Beauty Town congratulates General Pingbei on gaining a new Tiger General. Finally, we sincerely invite General Pingbei to visit Beauty Town. We have beautiful women here. Just as the people on the World Channel were envious and jealous, as well as flattering, an unusual piece of news appeared on the World Channel. Selling Yi Chen's real-life address at a high price. Fixed price, 1 billion. Don't think that I'm a scammer. I've really seen Yi Chen. And I know his exact location. When this news appeared, the entire World Channel fell silent. A few seconds later, just like when Yi Chen took in Zhao Yun's World Channel, the World Channel exploded again. Holy sh*t. Why do I feel that this Zhao Arai guy is telling the truth? Impossible. So many people have failed to find Yi Chen. How can he know where Yi Chen is? Don't forget that some people have chosen their in-game names. But Yi Chen's name looks real no matter how you look at it. And from his tone, it sounds real no matter how you look at it. Idiot. Would a scammer tell you that he's fake? If this is real, then Yi Chen is probably in trouble. You have to know that many factions are trying to find Yi Chen. So what if there are many factions? They have to be in the same city, not in different cities. Get those people to come out and try. Let's see who dares. You don't say. There are already people who can kill those ferocious beasts outside. They seem to be using the true equipment that Boss Yi Chen mentioned. If they come out with such equipment, there shouldn't be a problem. Holy sh*t, I'm impressed. It's not good for Yi Chen to be found by them. Holy sh*t, if we find Yi Chen, the famous historical general with the best equipment, the historical beauty will be ours. That's right. Ha ha, hurry up and find Yi Chen. Don't let him harm us anymore. Holy sh*t, all the good stuff is with him. How are we going to live? Reincarnation City, Castellan's mansion. Yi Chen heard the World Channel, but he didn't look at it at all. At this moment, Zhao Yun had just been recognized as his master. How could Yi Chen be in the mood to look at the World Channel? Hearing Zhao Yun's incomparably firm words, Yi Chen laughed out loud. Just as he was about to speak, the system's notification rang out. Ding! Zhao Yun's loyalty plus 10. Ding! Zhao Yun has leveled up to loyal. Yi Chen was stunned for a moment. Then, he said in ecstasy, Good. Zilong, I didn't misjudge you. On the day of battle, you will be the vanguard. Do you dare? Yun, I'm willing to be the vanguard. Zhao Yun replied loudly. Ha ha ha, let's go and have a drink. Today we just defeated Duduan, and now we have Zilong. This is really a double blessing. We should celebrate. Yi Chen laughed and said, Zhao Yun, Super Top Historical General, Saint Level General, Aptitude. SSS, Sealed, Loyalty. Die Loyal Martial Strength. 99, Full Innate Realm, Bone Frame. 99 Spirit. 98 Fortune, Hidden Skill. Martial God Technique Incomplete. Saint Level, Skills. Stormy Pear Spear, Saint Level. Phoenix Spear, Saint Level. 7 Snake Spear, Saint Level. Nameless Spear Technique Incomplete, Saint Level. Equipment. Silver Spear, Dragon Bile, Saint Level. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.